spark off the left there. They're doing a nice live stream right now.
All right, we'll give them a good wave.
Fly Bravo heading, clear to take us.
Go ahead, clear to take off, watch your right.
Welcome to Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport on this splendid Sunday evening from the heart of a Delta Fortress hub, the main operating base of Sun Country Airlines, a bustling cargo terminal. There's tons of aviation action to indulge at one fantastic public viewing area that is operated by the Metropolitan Airports Commission, the governing body for MSP International Airport, as we open up to you on the air on an incredible Sunday evening for live plane spotting here at MSP International Airport, as the month of June is almost to an end. But MSP can certainly deliver in the month of June, I'll tell you that, especially towards the end of the month. We've had some very interesting flights today come into the Twin Cities, leave the Twin Cities, and we're looking forward to what should be a stupendous evening for the live plane spotting. And joining me in the broadcast booth, I'm Alex, it's RJ Bean, it's John Joseph. Great to have you both on board today. I know that it was a little bit rough trying to do our Sunday show out here from MSP International, just given some of the issues that we've had to kind of endure and work through, but nonetheless, we are on the air live, and we didn't even think that we were going to be able to get off a stream today, just with how bad some of our technical issues were kind of earlier on in the afternoon. But let me just tell you what, I'm ready to de-stress. I'm ready to do some plane spotting. How about you guys? Let's start our week with some live plane spotting. Let's keep it right here. Park it here at MSP Airport Live. We've got a great show for you here this evening.
Oh, we had rain too.
We did, and that was the other reason why we are on the air with a start time that is later than expected. Now, even if we were to start at our normal time today, I don't think we would have been able to continue necessarily because of a rain delay. I mean, we got rained out. That cold front moved through, and boy, does it feel nice here that cold front's moved through, with just precipitation blasting across the metro area in spotty pockets, and there was a cell that just really kind of formed and materialized over the airfield and over parts of Bloomington, Minnesota, just south of Minneapolis. So, I mean, we've had a very interesting afternoon for rain, and, well, especially last night, too. And even in the wee hours of the morning, we had some pretty nasty, severe weather blow through here. I think a confirmed tornado was down in the West Metro, out in the Mound, West Tonka area. We also had straight-line winds go through downtown St. Paul.
So, Alex,
get the rain gear out here for sure earlier.
Our friend Nick that's here behind us said there are apparently upwards to 5.
Wow.
Not just 1, but 5.
And you know what's been very interesting is we've had just such an active year already for severe weather here up in the Northland, and, well, I don't know if this is a precursor of things to come, but we just got to stay sky aware, I guess. Not just for the weather, but we got to stay sky aware for the aircraft coming in and out of MSP Airport here tonight. We're going to be looking at Air France departing with the 787-9 Dreamliner, Delta 1484 with the A350-900 off to Detroit Metropolitan Airport with the Delta flagship. Going to be seeing the 350 tonight. We'll have Iceland Air. We'll have plenty of Delta A330 action for you. If you're a big fan of the A330, well, then this is the place to be. It's, in fact, Minneapolis St. Paul is actually the Airbus maintenance base for Delta, and it sees a lot of the Airbus aircraft in and out of here frequently.
Oh, and another thing is with the challenges that we've had this afternoon is we've got Shamrock here on the ground, too, on the north side. So they've snuck in on us, too, as well as we've been working on everything from a technical point of view.
I think Rome's going tonight, too, Alex, at 8:05.
That is correct.
And when RJ says the Shamrock, for those of you out there who don't know, it's Aer Lingus. They're bringing in the Airbus 321 XLR, which stands for extra long range. So they're bringing that narrow-body, nonstop from Dublin, Ireland to MSP.
Steve Lundaby. Okay, folks, sit down and buckle up and enjoy the ride. Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the ride at all times.
Absolutely.
Do we ride the front row or the back? I'm a front row person.
I don't know. I kind of like the back here, our friend Nick, which is not mic'd up. We don't have enough mics, funny enough. Do you prefer the front or the back of a roller coaster?
It depends.
He says it depends. So, John, why don't you pass on the mic here real quick?
I think my roller coaster days are over. Here's Nick.
It depends on what roller coaster you're on more than anything else.
So which roller coaster do you want to ride on if you're in the back?
I would say more of a back roller coaster, more than likely, would be the ones that you get a little bit of a launch at, like Max Force down in Illinois.
I've been on that. We've been on that coaster. I'll tell you what. Is that an air launch or hydraulic?
It is an air launch. It's one of the only ones here in the States, and it actually right now is the fastest air launch coaster because the one in Japan closed down permanently.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get a chance to go on that before it closed. It closed right before I went to Japan.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Nick has traveled to a lot of fun places. He's a big roller coaster guy, so since we were on that subject, I thought I would kind of pick his brain while he was here just for a little bit.
With a little lull in the action. That was good. Good filler on roller coasters. Another fast machine.
Hey, Steve Lundaby gifting some MSP Airport Live memberships. 5 of you guys watching. Congratulations on receiving your MSP Airport Live memberships. This will get you fun access to emojis and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, thank you, Steve, for sending us and gifting our audience 5 MSP Airport Live memberships.
Alex, looks like we got a 757-200 on final coming in from ATL Atlanta.
Thank you for the heads up. So, folks, if you have received a gift of that membership, I want to see those emojis come out. So we have the red tail emojis. We have our Gerald emojis for our little ground squirrel friends. We've got our snowy owls. Oh, look at that off in the distance. RJ, John, looks like we got some rain there that's continuing to fall here on the
I see that. I see it on the live feed also. Yep. It's just circling us today, Alex. We can't seem to get a break today. Don't forget the rabbits either, Alex.
I will not.
Okay, yeah, I've got it on my phone. Well, no, wait, that's a different area. Now, the app that I'm using is not picking it up, but this is just the way our afternoon has been out here. It's like what side of the street you're on. You might be dry, you might be wet.
Right. If it hasn't been the computer, it's been the weather. It's been a frustrating day, but Alex is sticking it out. I'm still here, and RJ's still here. We had 5. Now we're down to 3. Nick showed up. We're back to 4.
Right on the runway, ground point 900, Delta 2654.
And Atlanta's on the ground.
270 at 6, runway 30 left, cleared to land.
I don't know the runway yet, flying on a reroute.
That's my mom went through yesterday. She got diverted to Augusta on Friday night. They didn't fly another plane to
Ground Delta 2654 is 3030 left on the runway. Going to Foxtrot 14.
So 2654 Minneapolis ground, continue down the runway.
There's our 757-200 arrival.
Opposite direction, 319 on Bravo.
Alright, right turn on Bravo, door gate, give way to the opposite 319 on Bravo, Delta 2654.
2654.
Coming in on final right behind the Delta 757 is a United 319 coming in from Chicago O'Hare. Should be on the ground shortly.
Bravo, Delta 2654.
So I made up the hours, but that 10,000 miles isn't acceptable for that.
As Alex said, we have had a lot of action out here today. We saw a A350 come in from Los Angeles on a Delta charter flight. And we had a UPS MD-11, always a good plane to see out here in Minneapolis. That just landed and taxied right by us on the Mike taxiway. And we missed Discover taking off today to Frankfurt, unfortunately. They're bringing the A330-300 in here to Minneapolis. I don't think it's daily, but always nice to see a foreign carrier come in here with a 330.
Well, that is 100% correct, and they are actually kind of filling in for Lufthansa as a stopgap before the German flag carrier returns to Minneapolis, St. Paul. They had stellar performance in 2024 into 2025.
Great.
And the Airport Commission, the Metropolitan Airports Commission here at MSP Airport in the Twin Cities area, they really just love Lufthansa. They were an excellent performer, and we should expect them to be back next year, although we'll just have to keep checking the schedules, and we'll just kind of have to monitor that as best we can.
787, I believe they were bringing here the Dash 9.
They were bringing the Dreamliners, and for a brief time in January, they brought the A340-300s.
I remember that.
Which, by the way, was the first time that the A340 was in scheduled service to MSP Airport with any carrier since before the pandemic.
Right.
And the last time before Lufthansa that an A340 was in scheduled service, you have to look back to when Air France actually sent them to MSP Airport.
Right, and I think they mothballed a lot of those 340s for a long time.
Yeah, and the 340s are out of the fleet.
Basically, this is
Is the KLM 777 still here? Unfortunately, it left a little while ago.
To the Charlie 14 Cape via Alpha, Delta, and Papa.
Patheon says, I will be flying to MSP from Dallas, Fort Worth on an American 737 next month. Is this a good preview of what is to come for me? I think it's a fantastic preview, and I think it's a good question because these are the kind of great views that you get from the viewing area just every day. And, I think it's something that a lot of people, especially around here, take for granted, because you look at other airports, such as like LAX or DFW, like, yeah, we might not get the same variety with all of the big jets, but what we do get in exchange for it is much better, in my opinion.
Right, Alex, I believe this is probably one of the closest, if not the closest, at a major metropolitan airport that you can get to the runway. We're not far from the runway at all here. Like Alex said, in LAX, when they're filming, it's going through a bunch of buildings, and you don't get to see it all. Here, we take it all in.
Right turn on the runway at point 9.
Got an exit Northwest A320 on its way to runway 17 for departure. That's a salute, RJ.
All right, cross runway 30 left on Mike, right turn whiskey, runway 17.
She's got her headphone off.
6, we're on the runway. Oh, we're going Charlie 11. And up 606 Minneapolis ground taxi departs via runway 4 and Quebec. 4 and Quebec depart over 606. Delta 1711, your reroute didn't go through. Contact cleared delivery on 133.2.
This is what happened in Atlanta.
So this is Delta Flight 2107. It's going to Santa Ana, California. So an A220.
Yeah, typically that was run by Delta and Northwest Airlines with the 319. But now that they have these 220s online, which they have for a few years now, they are running the 220 out to Orange County.
So it looks like we have Delta 2654 to Atlanta that has taken its position inside what we like to call the penalty box.
And around that pushback there, hold short of Charlie.
So it's an arrival from Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson to MSP Airport.
Maybe the gate's occupied, I would imagine, Alex.
More than likely, that is what the case is. I know that Delta 170 Heavy, when it arrived tonight, it was sitting right on one of those de-ice pads. And again, what we call the penalty box.
Give a little explanation of that, Alex, the penalty box.
So in the sport of hockey, for those who don't know, the penalty box is where players go to sit out a length of time for committing a minor or a major infraction or penalty in hockey. Most are minor penalties that are up to 2 minutes in the penalty box. So your team is down a person, and your opponent is on what's known as the power play. They have the man advantage. And when that time's up, if no other fouls or infractions are committed, everyone's back to full strength. And because we are the state of hockey up here in Minnesota, it's very fitting that, since they have to wait, and since they're on the pad before they can get into the action, it's the penalty box for us.
Perfect.
Delta 1711 ground, you still with me?
This aircraft actually, registration November 822 Delta X-Ray, was a part of the last batch of 757s produced by Boeing. I believe it's ex-Singapore.
Really?
Delta 606.
Yeah, so if you see a Delta 757-200 with that Delta X-Ray or DX registration suffix, there you go. The more you know.
Charlie 6. Going 4 short of Quebec, 606.
They are the youngest 757s that are currently airborne.
Ground Delta 349 on Pablo, we're going to Charlie.
That is my favorite narrow-body aircraft of all time, by the way, is the
Absolutely.
757.
No
Dash
question
200
about
or 300 variant, I don't care.
We just called opposite.
It is a-
13 should be open and,
It is an incredible
It's a
machine.
beautiful-looking aircraft, isn't it? It's just, as you would say, I believe you described it as sexy one time, didn't you, Alex? Yeah.
But it's the A350. The A350 gives the, or gets the distinction of being called Big Sexy.
Oh, that's it. Okay. That's new school. 75's old school. Looks like we've got Spirit coming in here on final approach from Atlanta. Reminds me of the old paint job of Hughes Air West. Remember Hughes Air West, Alex?
Yep.
The Flying Banana, we called it.
That was the original banana bus, was
Right.
Hughes Air West.
That's right.
175 and continue via Papa to the gate.
Which merged
That
with
legacy,
Republic Airlines.
yeah, and then that legacy lives on through Spirit's own iteration of that all-yellow fuselage.
Yep. You can't miss that airplane.
Delta 397 Minneapolis ground push approved, runway 30 left.
Condor gave it a run for its money when they were bringing the gold one in here, though, at the 330. I miss seeing Condor come in here.
Alright, Delta and ground point.
I will second that, John, because Condor had a very flashy livery. And whether you loved it or you hated it, their business class product was surprisingly underrated.
Yeah.
Excellent economy or leisure carrier to fly on from what I've seen in trip reports and everywhere else. Of course, your mileage is going to vary, but Condor, we miss that airline.
It took me some getting used to with that livery. Really took me some time to get used to it, but now I fell in love with it. The red, the blues, the gold. I think they brought a black one in also.
And the other thing, too, with the Condor so-called beach towel livery, the candy cane striped livery.
Candy striped, right.
That everyone's going
gum.
nuts over.
Delta 258
That's old school.
Minneapolis
I'm old school,
ground,
Alex. I might have a few old school references here.
That's fine.
Push approved, 30 left, and release on the 3500 restriction on the departure.
258 heavy, roger.
But in photos and in video, that Condor livery was, to a point, a little obnoxious, but in person, my goodness.
Right. Really nice.
Endeavor 5397 Minneapolis ground.
There was a point where it started to kind of grow on me quite rather quick, and you can really tell when you see that livery in person just how different it is and how much it stands out.
Yeah. Yep. I think Airways Magazine did a wonderful article on Condor and the operation that they're running in Frankfurt.
Well, here's the other interesting thing about it, too, is that when Condor actually released that new brand identity, when they made everything public, right? They hired their design firm, they finalized the rebrand, the new livery, everything. They went public with that information, I believe, on April Fool's, and everyone thought it was a joke.
Oh, really? Okay.
But then the next day, everyone realized
Good
that, wait a
marketing.
minute, this wasn't branded an April Fool's joke, and then they kind of made another post to follow up on it, and it was like, at that point, everyone realized, oh,
It's for real.
that's for real.
Yeah, I missed that coming in here. I hope it comes back in someday.
I certainly hope so, too. And it was a genius rebranding strategy and execution, because it got people talking about it, which is what you want to do if you're doing a rebrand.
Right.
Now, obviously, I think Korean Air can take some notes on what Condor did and the attention that their rebrand got, right, as to how to do it correctly.
Minneapolis ground, push is approved, plan on runway 1.
Boy, I'll tell you what, out of all the liveries that Korean Air could have picked, I know you guys are maybe in the same boat as I am. Maybe you like the new livery that Korean Air has, but I don't know. It just looks too much like TUI or
I'm not even
KLM.
sure I've seen it yet. Because powder blue was their livery forever.
It's sort of like this matte metallic lighter blue that's an interesting finish. I'll give them that. It's an interesting concept, but I don't think that I would have picked it.
I was over in Rome last month, and I saw the ITA livery, that blue. Have you seen that, Alex?
Yes, I have. Bring back all Italia.
It's beautiful.
I will say I prefer the classic, but that blue ITA is certainly different, and it is a huge shakeup from everything else that you'll see. So it's certainly far from a bad livery. It's one of the better ones, I think.
I saw a lot of Alitalia planes parked over there in their original paint job livery. RJ makes fun of me that I say paint job. I told you I'm old school.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I use that term all the time.
Oh, good. That does make me feel better. Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Of the heavy Boeing 767, caution wake turbulence, wind 270 at Niner, runway 30 left, clear 2 left.
And folks, if you're just joining us, welcome to Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport here on this Sunday evening. Alex Redding, RJ Bean, John Joseph, and our master controller, our moderator in charge, Michael Larson. We got you taken care of. Well, here we go. I think this is FedEx.
1044, Minneapolis Tower, number 3, wind 280 at 8, runway 30 left, clear 2 left. There's 3791, wind 280 at 8. Fly runway heading, runway 17, clear for takeoff.
Yep, there it is.
Runway heading, runway 17, 3791.
Yep, just came in from Memphis. 767-300 freighter.
We better tell RJ that we got to prepare for the wave.
Okay. We're going to get the wave down taxiway Mike here?
Yeah. RJ, if you can hear me.
Got it. I got to get my jacket.
Okay. I shall say no more.
Weighing 2345 after the 220 under.
As you can tell, Alex, from that FedEx, the dedicated freighter, no windows.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. You don't see where the windows for the where they're plated over.
Right.
That's you could tell.
Much cleaner look.
Yep.
As opposed to the 737 Prime Airs here, flown by Sun Country. It says Prime Air, but if you look real close, when they taxi by, they've got windows on them. So they reconverted those aircraft from passenger aircraft to freighter aircraft to fly all your packages to your front door in 2 days.
Including some of the gear that goes into our production setup is flown into here on Prime Air jets.
Free returns.
Hey, I'm down for that. If I have a problem, which I don't want.
You didn't have a problem today, did you, Alex?
Nah.
See what a good mood we're in now that we're live? Makes all the world of difference.
Yeah, the camera's on, the feed's cooking. We've got the aircraft landing, we got the aircraft taxiing, taking off.
What do we have here? The buckets are open on the 717. Came in from Wilmington.
2654 after the CRJ off your left there. Make the hard left, join Bravo, cross runway 4.
For those of you that don't know, that 717 taxiing in looks like the old DC-9s that North Central had. Northwest inherited them. But that's got a glass cockpit in it. And Northwest Airlines, actually, I think it was Delta Airlines acquired all those from, was it ATA?
Airtran.
Airtran, that's what it was, Airtran, down in Florida. I think they got about 72 of them, and they got paid very little money for them. It's been a good aircraft, too.
Delta 579, monitor ground point 8 now.
Okay, monitoring point 8, Delta 579.
Now arriving from Nashville, Tennessee, Delta 1044. Next to arrive on runway 30 left. Also, folks, we got Delta 258 Heavy off to Dublin, Ireland. To the A330.
Southwest at Hotel 13, what was the name again? Disco found at Southwest 897, you push it approved, runway 17.
Push approved, 17, Southwest 897.
I believe Aer Lingus takes off shortly after Delta does and should be right behind them. They don't keep that Aer Lingus on the ground very long, do they, Alex?
No.
Push approved, American 2140. American 2140, runway 17 for the push. Runway 17, thank you. Ground Delta 1044 is on runway 4. Delta 1044, Minneapolis ground with the gate. Fox 6, Delta 1044. Delta 1044, continue runway 4 and Bravo to the gate. Runway 4, Richard Bravo, the Delta 1044. Delta 81, that's correct. Delta 1044, looks like you have Foxtrot 6 is on the side. I'll tell you what, make the left turn there. Bravo, put join the, and switch in the 1-2 right behind that. Okay, left turn on Bravo, and the exit Delta 1044. Delta 81, that's correct. Delta 881, point east, protect.
All right, John.
Yes, sir.
Delta 397 off to Fairbanks, Alaska, now departing off of runway 30 left.
I see that.
Delta 605, company's going to be moving from your gate momentarily into the gate table.
You can tell that's a 900 taken off by how loud it is.
Delta 1711, we just need to reload this flight. Gotcha, let me know when you're all set.
Looks like somebody needs to reload their flight plan into the data computer. Oops.
Oh, yeah?
I've done enough flight simming to know how involved that whole process is.
Wait for Alaska, the passenger tail entering the alley, then you're pushing through, plan on runway 17.
Got a Legion Air just touched down, the A320, and right behind that, taking off, will be Delta 258 to Dublin on A330-200 tonight, Alex. The shorter version of the A330.
How do you see that, folks? Check this out. Check out that rainbow off in the distance. That is huge.
There it is. Beautiful. Do you see the pot of gold, too, Alex?
No, unfortunately, I don't see the pot of gold.
Okay. That would get
Oh, wait a minute. There it is.
That beautiful.
Over Concourse E.
Over the good luck charm of the Shamrock.
It would have been an amazing shot to have the rainbow coming out of the Aer Lingus jet, which
totally.
of course would be so appropriate, but it's pretty close. I'll take it.
Minneapolis Tower, 2.5 mile final at Charlie Golf, point 30 left, going to be a Charlie Delta, monitor ground point 9.
Earlier today, we saw Sun Country taxi out with the University of Minnesota lively on it.
And Sun Country 240, 224, taxi at Charlie.
Sun Country in the delivery titles, and then we have a Endeavor Air CRJ that is now strutting its stuff across runway 30 left. Behind the building it goes as it makes the right-hand turn to join Taxiway Whiskey. It'll be headed to 17 for departure.
Delta 2350, then the taxi via Alpha Charlie Papa. Alpha Charlie Papa.
Dublin's down there just holding short, Alex, still waiting for Southwest to come in from Austin, Texas. About another 200 feet, they'll be on the runway. There they are. See if we can get Mac to move that building, Alex. There's a 220 getting towed in front of it.
Short 30 left for 17 Delta 15. American 2140, we're ready for taxi. Delta 4367 runway is available. Turn left there. Contact ground on point.
Very traditional Southwest
Take a left on the
livery there.
Right turn on Delta, taxi via Delta Papa, American movement, get way to them at Charlie 6.
Right turn Delta, then Papa, immediately to American Charlie 6.
American 2140, runway 17, taxi via Charlie 6, Mike, cross runway 4.
The planes actually look great tonight, don't they, Alex, with that dark sky in the background?
They do. It adds a really nice
pop of color off that
contrast.
Southwest. It's great. Yep. I like to see that.
Southwest 4367, Minneapolis ground taxi to park via runway
So Delta
4
258 Heavy to Dublin has lined up with runway 30 left and is almost ready to depart. Looks like I think they're cleared for takeoff.
I believe they are. Yep, they're on the roll. A330 200 to Dublin.
There's only 11 of them in Delta's fleet. Here it comes.
You got about 5 miles behind
He got off the runway quick.
Minneapolis Tower, keep moving, traffic's on a 3-mile final on runway 22, cross, runway 30 left.
Beautiful
turn
sight.
left on Whiskey.
We'll keep it moving for you, crossing 30 left turn on Whiskey 473 Charlie.
Alex, can you think of anything else you'd rather be doing this evening than
Nope.
out here on a beautiful Sunday?
Nope.
Plane spotting?
Nope.
Bird watching?
Nope.
Me either.
We are bird watching, I suppose, but it's a different kind of bird watching.
Oh, yeah, the snowy owl bird? That's what you're talking about, right?
Delta 2087, Minneapolis ground pushing cruise runway 30 right.
Push 30 right, Delta 2087.
Which we did have a snowy owl down here.
Taxi. Delta 574, runway 17, taxi via Charlie 5, Charlie, hold short runway 30 left.
Check out that Gulfstream.
Hold short 30 left, Delta 574. Delta 2607 right there.
Beautiful.
Tower Delta 940, ILS 30 left.
Delta 914, Minneapolis Tower, wind 3107, runway 30 left.
Got a Delta A320 taxiing right in front of us here. With the Northwest tail number on it.
Alpha 7, runway 30 left.
Alpha 7, hold short 30 left,
Let's see where he's off to.
Yeah, ground Delta 1044, we're ready to go over to Fox 6, please.
Delta 1044, Roger, just got to get a couple past you before I can start your taxi. Delta 1044, can you make the right turn to join Bravo?
Yeah, we can do a right 180, join Bravo Delta 1044.
Delta 1044, make a right turn, join Bravo, taxi via Bravo, cross runway 4 to the gate.
Right turn, join Bravo.
It's off to DCA, Washington, D.C. this evening.
Delta 574, monitor tower now, 126.7.
267, Delta 574, 5.
Yeah, with 7's just fine. Make the left turn there. Sun Country 9141. Contact ground 29.
And we're heading to Hotel 5 contact.
Alex, refresh my memory. Is this Sun Country livery? That's not the Tide Pod, is it?
That is.
That's what I thought. They call that the Tide Pod. And yes, the Tide Pod, like the ones you throw in your washing machine.
That'd be correct.
Minneapolis ground, your push is approved. Reference company off of Gulf 15, plan on runway 17.
Push approved. Reference company of Gulf 15, runway 17, Delta 20.
Delta 1044 after the 220, continue via Bravo cross runway 4 up.
All right, now crossing runway 30 left is American 2140 off to Charlotte.
Clear to cross runway 4, Bravo Delta.
I think they're going to hold short here before crossing. We got one more arrival before they're going to cross.
What's the gate number? Delta and 5. Roger.
Delta 2962, you make your first right turn.
Here we go, everybody. This is rush hour.
Yeah, starting to get busy. You took the words right out of my mouth, Alex. It is starting to get busy here in MSP. Sun's out, nice and bright. Light breeze.
Honestly, I think we came on the air just in time.
I think we did too. It was well worth the wait, for sure. Thanks for your patience, Alex, sticking it out.
You bet. It's a labor of love.
Southwest 897, contact departure on a 180 heading. Have a good day.
Tower Delta 2274, ILS 30 left.
1503 Minneapolis, start off 5, cross my 30 left, turn right on with.
Okay, cross 30 left and right on whiskey for Delta 1502.
053, right turn runway 4, contact ground point 9er.
4 ground point 9.
Delta 187, Minneapolis, start off late Alpha 7, cross my 30 left, turn right on whiskey.
Plus 3 left, right turn whiskey 2127.
524 Minneapolis, start off late Charlie, cross runway 30
Got a
left.
CRJ 900 just rolling out after touching down.
Left join whiskey, cross runway 4 to 17, Delta 574.
1502 behind the company, 73 at whiskey 7.
I always like to see where they're coming in from.
And pop after the 73, monitor ground point 8 now.
Runway 4 and Papa to Charlie 26 and 20.
Our neighbors to the south, and I don't mean Mexico, we're talking Des Moines, Iowa, that just came in from to Minneapolis. Took all of 43 minutes.
Gary Pearson, I have to put this up on the screen. What time did the bugs come out? Well, we're about to find out, I think.
Tower Delta 2274, ILS 3 to the left.
Delta 2274, sorry about that. I think you called once before. Wind 320 at 7, runway 30 left to the left.
All right, I'm back. I've been here just talking to Nick.
Welcome back, RJ.
Welcome back.
Join the party.
Yeah,
Join the party.
I don't think I didn't see it when we tried to do the wave for.
No, he was not really paying too much attention to it.
Yeah,
I said he must be new.
I didn't see anything. So, but hey, I'm always good to try.
Yeah, you did well.
Delta 2087, runway 30 right, taxi via Delta Papa, monitor ground point 8 now.
30 right, Delta Papa, monitor point 8, Delta 2087.
We got planes all over the place tonight now.
Planes and more planes.
Waiting to come in, waiting to go out, waiting to cross runways, waiting to get to the gate.
17, Alpha 5, short of 30 left, Delta 2122.
Delta 2122, short of runway 30 left on Alpha 5.
The controllers are busy right now.
Left on Alpha 5, Delta 2122.
Approach the ground, Delta 914, head right on runway 4.
Delta 914, Minneapolis ground with the gate.
Fox set, yes, sir.
Yes, it's very much the mixed bag of the day.
That looks like the 757-300 you had in there off to the distance,
Yep.
Alex. Coming in, just came in from...
Fantastic. That's one of the earlies.
Yeah.
Runway 17, wind 3105, fly runway heading, cleared for
The
takeoff.
Northwest bird, I'm sure.
Got an A321 and a 737-900ER having to wait for American Airlines 2140 to cross runway 30 left, join Whiskey on its way to 17.
Wind 31015.
And if we hear an upcoming whale sound, we've got Delta 2773 that's waiting to cross as well.
There it is. Top of San Antonio.
So it's almost like an imaginary traffic light out here.
One more company 73 to party, and then we'll get you moving.
This is Delta 2187 off to Miami, Florida with the 737-900ER, and trailing it is Delta Flight 1502. It's off to Boston Logan with the A321-200. It's an Airbus product. There's our flight to Boston.
So 2234, turn right at Delta Charlie, contact ground point on it.
We'll take a Delta Charlie and 2274.9.
American 2140, just to split up some routes, reference control spacing with the Zumbros. Make a left turn at Kilo 8, saying Kilo, short of whiskey, please.
Kilo 8, Kilo, short of whiskey from there.
It's nice to see they're running the 757
It is.
out of from Phoenix to Minneapolis. That used to be about the only plane they would run down there in the wintertime back in the day.
Minneapolis ground level 1645, taxi.
In fact, they were running a 330 down there for a while.
30 right, taxi via Alpha, Delta, Papa.
I hear a whale.
75, both 75.
I hear it.
30 right via Alpha Delta Papa, give way to 27.
That's the one I was giving the warning on.
Delta 1645 correction after a opposite direction, a 321 on Alpha is passed, then you taxi via Alpha, Delta, Papa.
Okay, after the opposite direction, A321, go Alpha Delta Papa 30 right, Delta 16.
Yeah, when I went in and out of Phoenix February 22, I was flew in on a 7.6 and out on a 330.
No kidding. Great.
No, I'm not kidding.
That's great. Yeah, best of both worlds there. Good Boeing and Airbus.
Well, especially the 330.
Oh, yes.
Red tail.
Sound a little biased there,
Of
RJ.
course.
That's okay.
Bravo, Charlie, Papa for now.
They used to have a saying at Northwest. Your dad probably remembered it. During bad weather, they would always say, follow the red tail. Because they were known for their great meteorology department at Northwest Airlines.
Well, and you know, I think that's one of the things that my dad was involved in because he didn't just fly. I think my mom told me once he did fly or did teach high altitude meteorology.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
My dad was a jack of all trades. He didn't just fly.
There's the Airbus A220.
Yep, that's
Relatively new to the Delta fleet, the last 2 to 3 years.
Yep, that's the one that's going to San Antonio that just came across the runway, leisurely making their way over to runway 17.
He's moving slow, isn't he?
Yep.
Taking his time.
Hold our position until they get that cleared. Roger. Delta 1645, 75 on Bravo's way, taxi around them, continue via Bravo, Charlie, Papa.
Okay, Bravo, Charlie, Papa, around the 75 to rejoin Papa. I'm sorry, rejoin Bravo, Delta 1645.
Let's see here. What do we have on the roll coming down now, RJ? Can you tell what that is?
The aircraft that I'm looking at, I think they're being towed.
Ah.
Well, maybe not. That is... Oh, no, it is not. That's A321 flight, Delta Flight 2122 headed to LAX. They came across runway 30 left and they're taxiing, I'm assuming, down on Whiskey.
Okay.
So they will go past us.
Sounds right.
30 right, continue via Kilo, then cut to the 170 ice pad to join.
And coming in on short final is flight from Las Vegas.
Vegas, there it is. Another 757.
Yep.
Look at that.
75 flight 2238.
Wow. I feel like I'm in a
Shamrock 988, ground
Gotta keep up.
different decade. The 75s are in here all the time. You don't see them in here that often anymore.
Well, it seems like certain times of the day you see them more here.
Yeah, that's good.
Delta 1645 on Charlie.
I'm thinking, you know, pretty much every aircraft that Delta flies, you will see them here.
Okay, on Charlie, behind the company coming out.
I always love to see the 75 coming in.
The pencil.
2140, thank you for the help. Make the right turn at Kilo, just short of Whiskey. I'll call your sequence.
Well, there's a great shot. You got the 75 side by side with the 320.
Yep.
21, excuse me, 321. It's a little wider, a little fatter.
Yeah, it's a Neo.
Delta 1991, monitor ground okay. 5.8 Delta 1991. Delta 1645.
Yeah, this 321 is a Neo.
Mike 6.
Okay.
Expression Charlie 6, waits for you. Monitor ground now, 0.8.
Monitor 0.8, Delta 1645.
Where's he off to tonight?
LAX.
Tower now 6.7.
6.7, Delta 2268.
Oh, elbowing.
Okay.
Delta 2238, Minneapolis ground, city via Mike 6, cross runway 4.
Mike 6, cross runway 4, indicate 2238.
confirm Delta 2268.
2268, amend your taxi route, please. Taxi via Alpha and Charlie, hold short of runway 30 left.
So Charlie, hold short of runway 30 left, Delta 2268.
There's times where it's saying that the encoding is overloaded, but that's not the case. Yeah, we're good. All right, I gotta pull over some more water.
Delta 2962, just short of whiskey, short of whiskey for now, please. 942, turn right at Mike, contact ground point 9.
Looks like we got an A320.
Delta 942.
Yeah, with 3645, at 22, cross runway 30 left, and
It's
turn right
on the
whiskey,
move
please.
on
Got the way for
taxiway
you.
Mike.
Here
we go, John.
Right on Whiskey, Skyway 3645.
2140, runway 17, fly, runway heading, clear for takeoff.
They're coming from everywhere. Alex, they're coming behind us. They're coming on the sides. They're coming straight at us. It's great.
Delta 942 companies push off the gate right now. For now, continue straight ahead, Mike.
Delta 535 from to Anchorage, Alaska is now departing off 30 left. So we'll see them come down the runway here in just a moment.
942, taxi via Bravo at Delta, cross runway 4.
Bravo Delta, cross runway 4, Delta 942.
Looks like we have an arrival, though, ahead of the departure.
I see that. Let's see what we got. Oh,
1503,
looks like Icelandair.
runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Looks like we got Icelandair from Reykjavik.
Ices are coming into
737 MAX 9.
27,
Yeah, that's what they
73,
fly in
heads
here.
on the roll, runway 17 on the way.
Yep.
6 hours and 14 minutes in the air.
30 left on the way. 2140.
And they were a little late leaving.
Contact departure.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, they were supposed to. They had a 4:45 local time scheduled departure, and they did not push back till 5:38
Almost
their
an
time.
hour late. I see
Yep.
that.
So they were supposed to have been here at 6:20.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as you would probably know, you reach a point in time where when you do have a late departure, you sometimes you're able to make up some of it, but not always, depending on how much the delay is.
In which direction you're going, of course.
We're going to get a Mike taxi from Icelandair. Heads up.
Great.
Exit at runway 4 and then taxi via Whiskey.
They're going to pass by us 300 feet away when they're right next to us.
Nice Air 657 Minneapolis ground.
Not too many places you can see that, is it, Alex?
Nope. Tango, cross runway 4, Whiskey Gate.
There it is, just coming into view now.
RJ, let's see if we can get a wave from our friends aboard Icelandair.
Even though it's not a cargo?
Let's do it.
All right.
do it.
See if I can get it.
Nice Air 657 continue via...
Give them a good story to go back to Reykjavik and tell their friends.
Mike, Sierra, Delta, Mike, Sierra, cross 34 and Delta 2.
I see the co-pilot looking out there. I think he's looking at us. Yep, he's looking right at us. I see his sunglasses.
Push for touch.
Yep, he got a wave. He waved. He sure did. We got a wave from Icelandair. Good job, RJ. Yes, he did. Excellent. Excellent. That's fun. That's fun.
Just short of Quebec there, sit tight, Shamrock will be moving shortly.
I want him to open a window. That's what I want. I want a window open.
Yeah, I've been concentrating on trying to get waves from our cargoes with UPS and FedEx. So,
Yep.
I suppose we could try to start doing that every time we get a Mike taxi. So, doesn't matter who it is.
Let's do it.
As long as I'm here, I'm game.
It's like having the semi-truck drivers honk their horns
Yes.
at you. Give them the pull.
Yes.
Who do we
Delta,
got
here's
here?
Delta 2268 to Fort Myers, and then here we go.
Moving.
Via
Beautiful.
Alpha Charlie, hold short on track.
You think it's humid here? Wait till they get to Fort Myers.
I know.
And Delta 2297, I'm going to amend that route to...
Looks like we've got a
Alpha,
rain
Alpha
shower
5,
off to
hold
the
short,
southeast of us,
30
too.
left at Alpha 5.
So
Sure
all
do.
of our arrivals coming in on short
It's
final
over
might
my-
get
it's
a
over at my
little,
house.
a little bit of a rinse.
That is correct.
Runway
So we will point the camera sort of skywards for you here, just with the wide angle.
Yeah,
That's
look at
what
that.
we're looking like to our south. Yeah, it does look like there is quite a bit of precipitation that is cascading down from the cloud cover.
Has weather convective Pacific 99er Central, 02 Central for Minnesota surrounding states. More information available.
As long as it stays over there. The field's nice and sunny right now here. Let's see what we got coming in.
3345, just a short delay in position. You're following traffic off the south parallel.
Nothing's really out there on final right now.
Super 6
Got a little lull in the action.
Quebec, short of Shamrock, push there. Make the left turn there at Tango. Use Tango. I'm sorry, Yankee. Use Yankee Tango. Delta Whiskey. Cross runway 4.
30 left.
I think we are going to get
Delta Whiskey.
an Airbus A320 here. Coming down on the roll to DCA, Washington, D.C.
Alright, we'll switch over to 2367.
That's two we've seen to go to D.C.
Turn right
tonight.
on the runway 4, taxi to runway 4 and Whiskey. At Alpha 5, cross, runway 30 left, left turn on Whiskey.
Okay, cross 30 left at Alpha 5, left turn Whiskey, 30 left, Delta 297.
Sub 2962 on the 180 heading, contact departure, you have a good day.
Departure on the 180 heading, good day, Delta 2962.
Delta 2122, change to runway 30 left, make the right turn on Whiskey when you're ready, cross runway 4.
Got a Sun Country taxiing out on.
2151.
They're on the runway. Runway 22.
2151, continue via Delta Papa. The tug and tow on Quebec is with you.
So sometimes they will use the runway to taxi.
Yeah.
So
Clear to land 30 left.
Yeah, we called that back in the day a back taxi. They still call it that way depending on which way they're going.
When you're
But
ready to move.
Thanks for the $2 super chat, Shumku. Don't spend it all in one place.
Yeah, that works for me. We'll get you moving here in just a moment. Taxi up
We
to
will
Delta
certainly
Papa.
we will take that into account. Thank you.
And Alpha.
Continue Charlie Alpha behind the company.
Push at 1900 to continue around the tunnel Bravo to your gate.
Tunnel Bravo to
and I think we all need to say hi to Jonas because he's watching from Rochario, South SP Brazil. I'm not sure what the SP stands for.
one of our resident motorcycles just pulled up. We're getting quite a following of motorcycles down here at the viewing area. This is only one, but I've seen as many as 25 down here at one time.
All right, so I just turned around behind us, and we have someone who might have had something come up, and they are maybe returning to a gate. That is the flight to Fort Myers.
2122, runway 17.
Really?
Yes. So yeah, they just went by us, and then they turned and went through the FedEx UPS facility behind us. They have now just crossed over runway 24.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, they might have a problem.
Take a look at our weather radar. I know that we were looking at that cell that was off to our east. And there you go. There's some small showers that have developed.
They're moving away from us, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're moving away from us. I think we're still well in the clear.
Good. Yeah, keep an eye on that 321 RJCU at gate he's going to go back to. That happens every now and then. They try to troubleshoot it out there. Call maintenance control, see what's happening. Do this, do that, and it doesn't fix. They say, come back to the gate and we'll have the mechanics take a look at it. Usually it's a quick fix.
Yeah, you just need people in the know to help you.
That's right.
Turn right, heading at 240.
There goes the motorcycle.
2122, contact departure. 2297, traffic's 50, runway 30 left, line up and wait.
5.30 left, 2297.
Got another 717 coming in on final. From Milwaukee, and they are on the runway. So we got a few international departures yet this evening. Rome's going to go about 8:05. We might have
turn right at the runway,
2 more Amsterdams yet tonight.
Mike is available. Contact ground on point and Niner.
All right, right on the runway over to ground point 9. Good night.
Okay.
And of course, London goes late now out of MSP. Used to be 5:20 departure, and for some reason,
now it's about
up
11.
11 p.m. departure.
Yeah,
we'll be long gone.
Yeah, right before 11.
I hear it go over my house, but yeah, it's right before 11. That's right.
Oh, so you get the 12 departures too?
I do.
Ah, there we go. You get them before I do.
I do. You know it. Tell time by those wide bodies going over the house.
Well, I'd have to do a small amount of digging, but I do have a picture in my photo album that I took from standing out in our front yard from where we were living before going to Florida when my dad was flying a trip out of here to London. So he flew right over Stillwater.
On the 747?
Yep.
I love it.
So that kind of gives you where I was at that time. It's not where I'm at now.
What do we got there, Alex? A 737-900?
Yep. That is 2297 to Phoenix. It's a 739ER. Delta, of course.
Of course.
Of course, the horse. Who was the talking horse?
Earlier, you mean?
No, they was on TV.
Oh, Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed, there you go.
There's my old school coming out.
Yeah.
Don't make me sing the song.
No, I wasn't expecting that.
I think my sister down in Phoenix is listening, and she might.
It just made me think of that.
Crap.
You know, we always like to add a little bit of extra fun to our streams, so.
I remember Mr. Ed. Oh, Wilbur.
There you. Yep. Oh,
couldn't resist.
Yeah.
See, we throw a little comedy in here at MSP Live.
Okay, we've had a change in the ops, possibly. That flight that had originally gone by us.
Went to Fort Myers. Oh, there goes Aer Lingus. You got it, Alex? The Shamrock.
I'm getting it.
Boy, there you're on it.
Gotta move the camera.
The A321 XLR nonstop to Dublin.
Turn right, contact ground.
And they're already turning out.
They sure are.
So, as I was starting to share, our
flight to
Fort Myers, they are actually now down at the end of runway 30 left. They
wind shift, maybe?
Could be.
Yep, probably a wind shift. It's a long ways to go, but got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what it was.
Wind has picked up a little bit more here
Certainly
from
has.
what I've noticed, and that is now putting most of the action on the 30s. That's what we want.
Yep. Absolutely.
And
so they're fine.
And it appears that most of the departures are kind of headed off to either 30 right, which is the north parallel, or 30 left, which is the runway we're spotting.
We got Sun Country on the roll, Alex, heading down to the Big Easy, New Orleans. In In that Tide Pod livery. There it is.
And just as they rotate, we've got United 732 touching down from Denver. That tells you what the spacing is like right now.
That was tight. That was tight.
Yep.
Always fun to see a go around, but not good for the airline or the fuel or the delay, but it's always fun to see.
We had an interesting one out here 2 weeks ago on Father's Day.
Really?
Yep.
Wide body?
Yep. It was our Dublin departure. We were, they'd been cleared to go. They were sitting down here at the end of 1-2 right.
Sure.
And then we were watching a delayed flight coming in from Atlanta, which was a 76400.
Oh, I was here that evening. But I didn't see it come in. I saw it take off.
Okay. So, the arrival, the 76400 arrival had
to go around.
Had to go around,
Wow.
and we carried it live.
Very nice.
We also did covered a retirement flight that day, which was a Delta A330 captain flying in on 153 from Amsterdam.
Okay.
Yeah, that one got me a little bit because that experience is something that we never went through as a family because of my dad.
Did they give him the water cannon salute?
Yep.
Good.
And hopefully he had some family on board.
Yeah, I've been on a few of those.
So,
always fun.
And that's the thing, we never got to experience that with my dad because of what happened.
Right.
That hurt.
There goes your Fort Myers.
Yep, that's the one. That just went by us. So they're finally on their way.
2260 and a 200 heading contact departure. Good day.
200 heading over departure Delta 2268.
Alex is back fine-tuning his computer. How's it going over there?
Yeah, a lot of the buffering that you guys are seeing today is actually not caused by our network. It's just caused by a faulty graphics card in our computer. So we're going to have to sort that out here throughout the coming weeks.
Yeah, sorry for the delay earlier. It was frustrating for you guys. It's certainly frustrating for us. Alex wants nothing more to have a seamless operation here, but it's computers, and we're running all off of batteries here.
The computer is months old.
It's a pretty new one.
It is.
If you have Delta or Charlie, contact ground on point 9er.
Oh, I have to share this one. This comes from Clock Channel. You'll all love seeing Mr. Bubble at the baggage claim at Terminal 1.
Oh.
With a question mark.
The pink one. I saw it over there. That's it's part of WestJet, I believe.
400 Foxtrot Juliet Minneapolis Tower.
It almost looked like Wizz Air.
Left landing traffic.
And it may be.
And this is kind of funny. I'm going back in the chat. DM Hemi says, down at the old Spotters Park, huh? Should I tow an engine past on our engine truck?
Sure.
Yeah, why not? Spool it up.
Everybody's listening to us tonight. It's great. Let's see if I can find that pink airplane.
So, Alex, you and I can attest to this. Carrie Person asks us, what time do the bugs come out?
He mentioned that earlier. Not yet. They're not out yet.
Well, hopefully we can get by without them
when the sun
tonight.
goes down, probably.
Yeah, the June bugs made an appearance in our last couple streams out here.
Appropriately
yes.
In June.
2575, what's your gate? And you queued up
and I got to point out, Clock Channel saying, greetings everyone from Daytona Beach. I know
Very
that's
nice.
the east coast of Florida.
The 500.
Yep.
Very nice.
You know, my mom and I did a little trip over to the East Coast and went to that area, and we drove by the Speedway. I'd never seen it
No
before.
kidding. Cool.
Except for watching the race on TV. That track is massively big. Because it's a 2.5 mile trioval.
They put a couple 100,000 people there turning to Daytona 500.
That's fine. Force going to be pushing.
Never been there.
Okay,
Yeah, we stayed on the beach
23 minutes ground. Company
for
is going to 5
like
next door. Use
a couple
caution, one
days,
area
and then
will
on
push
our
approved.
way back, we went down to the Space Center
Very nice.
and then
Yeah, I've
headed
been
home
there.
from there.
I went down there to see a shuttle launch.
Flight 4151.
And did an overnight.
Endeavor,
Hopped on a
4642
Northwest
Minneapolis
75, went
Tower,
down there,
wind
rented a car,
310 at Niner,
saw
number
the
2,
shuttle
runway
go.
30 right, cleared to land.
Hightailed it back to Orlando and
Envoy,
came home.
4151
Wow.
Minneapolis Tower,
That
number
was
2,
really
traffic
cool.
hold
Well,
position,
you know,
wind
from
310
one of the
at Niner, runway
times we
30
used to,
left, cleared to land.
there was a few years, a handful of years, we went over to Cocoa Beach
Oh, yes.
and stayed. You know, we were just a little south of the Space Center. We happened to time it once when we were over there, where there was something that launched, and we got word of it. So we were out walking and kind of wandering around on the beach at the time that it went up. So that's the closest we ever got to an actual launch. But from where we were on the West Coast,
Juliet, traffic set to marker,
depending on
runway
the
30
sky
left,
condition,
line up
if it
and
was
wait.
clear, people that are on the west coast of Florida
So the 2045
in the central part of the state can see the launches. It's just basically like a ball of fire
Yeah.
that's going up in the
Yes.
sky, but you know what it
It's
is.
gone quick, too.
Yes, you don't see it very long
No.
because, you know, like, you know, the curvature and it, you know, they
23,
do their
Delta, Kilo 3, cross from a
do their launch, and
17
they
to
usually
left,
head
cross
out,
24.
you know, in an arc like pattern over the Atlantic.
RJ, the action slowed down here a little bit, but we just had a 320, A320 Delta just land from Calgary, rolling out right now. And right behind that, we've got an Embraer 175, an American Eagle coming in from Chicago O'Hare.
30 left, clear, Bodega.
Taxi via Alpha to the gate.
Alpha to the gate, Delta 2489.
And Alex is still fixing that computer.
Yeah, we're just glad to be on.
There we go. There's our resident chipmunk down there, RJ.
Yeah, Gerald.
She's named him Gerald.
Well, they're all Gerald.
Oh, okay.
They're all Gerald.
Okay. So you know that one for sure.
Yeah,
is
they're all
Gerald.
Gerald.
Got it.
They're all Geralds.
Got it. I love
Maybe
it.
they're cousins.
I'm sure. That one you hear just now, if you could hear that, that's a Gulfstream heading to Dallas.
Okay, I have to do this one, and I'm going to figure out they're in one of these cars behind us. Michelle Biros. Greetings. My dad and I are sitting behind you and enjoying your conversation. He used to work for the Minnesota Air National Guard. Well, thank you.
Nice. Hi, Dad. We're getting a thumbs up and a wave. Fantastic.
And a salute.
4642, turn left at Charlie, turn left.
Thanks for watching.
There's Dad waving. I love it.
Where's Dad?
Good job.
There's Dad.
Air National Guard. Fantastic.
There you go.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you for your service.
Well, we got the fire department rolling out right now.
Let's see where they're headed. Hopefully nothing too much.
Well, probably a medical. More than likely a medical. There they go. See if I can pull him up here on the flight map. They'll show up, I think.
I've seen them show up.
Yeah.
So.
Tower Delta 49er to Super 8.
All right, thanks, folks, for sticking with us. I had to step off for a minute and change some things around.
21 Mayup Tower, traffic short final, traffic will hold in position. Wind 310 at 8, runway 30 right, cleared 2 lamps.
Should be back in action here.
Good. We got a 320 being taxied, it looks like here. Towed.
They're being towed.
Towed, yeah.
It's a 319 that's under tow.
2045 Minneapolis Tower, runway 30 right, line up and wait, traffic 9 mile final.
Yeah, when I was coming in on final for my arrival to get out here, there was only one aircraft that was sitting out over there outside of the hangar right off of 494, and it was a 220.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
always
Nice.
curious, you know, how much and who's parked out there when I go by. So that's what was over there at the time.
Still a pretty airplane. I love that plane. Look at that cloud formation. Wow. It looks worse than it does on in person than it does on the video. It looks pretty nasty there, doesn't it?
Well, it could be
a little
building.
bit. It's blocking the areas where the sun can't get.
Could be building into something.
Grasshopper 15.
But let's hope not. Not after last night. I think we all need a break.
No kidding.
left taxi via Delta Whiskey. 30 left via Delta Whiskey, Southwest 1566.
Because I know that rain, when it went through where I'm at, it rained really hard.
Sounds like it. 4 inches you said you got, right?
Yeah, a little
Wow.
over 4 inches of rain.
That's crazy.
So I happened to be just in the right spot for the heavy rain to go through, and we've had some people that are friends of the channel out here, and they said their sirens went off.
Wow.
To take cover and hide because, as in tornado warning.
A common thing here in the summertime in the Twin Cities. Looks like we got an Air Canada Express coming in on short final here, Alex. CRJ 900 from Toronto. It's hard to pick it out there in those clouds, though.
Yeah, actually, the Air Canada flight is coming in on the north side.
I see that now.
Heading contact, departure, good day.
And that's kind of out in the area where some of those darker clouds are on the bottom of them.
1566 runway 30.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
30 left via Delta Whiskey, Southwest 1566.
But we do have a Tide Pod livery with Sun Country coming in on our side here shortly from Bozeman.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see them.
How are we liking the live view, everybody? Look at that cloud formation off to our east.
Summer in the Midwest.
304,
You got it.
304, Minneapolis Tower, wind 310 at 8, runway 30 left, cleared 2 lamps.
And you know what we're going to do is we're going to queue up our handy dandy radar.
Okay, there it is.
4266, proceed into the 30 right, guys, pad. Which one are you holding for again?
Yeah, check that out. Got a few smaller pockets of rain.
When they're ready for you.
I'll tell you what, folks in the Southeast Metro and the East Metro, you guys can have it. You guys can have it. All yours.
Well, gee, thanks.
Just what you want is more
Yes,
rain.
well, I'm kind of, you could call me northeast metro.
System 21 maps gone. Roger, you can slide over to Delta taxi via Delta to the alley.
Oh, well.
Hey, Delta.
At least my grass finally got mowed today. I don't do it. It's paid for by the HOA.
You got Sun Country inside out there, RJ? There it is. Oh, I got to mow my lawn, but I got a rider, so it's okay.
Yeah, I don't have to do that. That's part of what I
You're
pay
lucky.
for my HOA. Yep, our Sun Country arrival from Bozeman is,
Yeah, there it is.
they're about to come over the river, a.k.a. the Minnesota.
That's right. The Minnesota, not the Mississippi, the Minnesota River Valley.
Right, and of course, just over, kind of on the other side of where we're broadcasting from, where Fort Snelling State Park is.
Right,
That's where the Minnesota River meets up with the Mississippi.
And fun little fact down there, too, it's the only national wildlife refuge in the United States in an urban setting.
There you go. And I've been down there a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice down there.
Yeah. And I will share, I'm sure it's the same, but I know the St. Croix is up.
Oh, I'll bet.
Big time, and the Minnesota and the Mississippi rivers could be up some as well as a result of all the rain that we've had.
2560 minutes turn at 30 left, line up and wait.
There it is.
So we'll see what happens with the rain that we've had just overnight. And I'm sure just to the north of us over at Minnehaha Falls.
It's rushing big time.
Oh.
It's gushing. That's fun to see.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just right there. Very close. There's Sun Country on the ground from Bozeman, Montana. BZN.
Good 304, turn left at Charlie, taxi to parking, monitor ground point 9er.
Left on Charlie, over ground, and taxi parking, 304.
Thought I saw Orange County out there coming in too. Yep, it's out there.
2560, wind 320.
There's that 220 I was talking about earlier. Delta's flying that A220 out to Orange County.
Clear for takeoff.
30 left, clear for takeoff.
That's about 5 minutes out. There goes Sun Country taxiing over to Terminal 2 here, better known as the Humphrey Terminal. That's where Iceland goes into. Sun Country. Southwest, Allegiant is also over there. It's a nice little terminal to fly out of here in the Twin Cities because it's a lot smaller, not as busy, except of course during the holidays. But they're building onto it right now too. They're adding on more. It seems like they're just constantly doing construction at all the airports.
Wouldn't be right to fly somewhere without it, right?
That's right, exactly. Very true. Got an Airbus here.
That's Delta 2560 headed to Reno for
Reno.
Rental. It's an
There it is.
A320.
Heading 200, runway 30 left. Clear for
Biggest
takeoff.
little city in America, I think, might be their motto.
Yep, never been there.
200, copy.
Reno.
2560 on the 230 heading, contact departure. Good day.
That's a great shot, Alex. I like that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Beautiful.
I love seeing the turnout.
I'm sure everybody enjoyed that.
Runway 30 right, clear to land.
Well, and speaking of construction, I know I've shared about being down in Florida in the Tampa area for many years. They're just getting started with a big project there to rebuild a new airside D.
Really? Wow.
Yes, so
Look at all those widgets. Alex, look at all those widgets. What's sticking out there in all those widgets? I see something different.
That would be Swoop.
That's
WestJet.
That's the one I was thinking of. Swoop. There it is. It's pushing right now. Swoop Air.
It's for WestJet. So they have to arrive at Concourse G because they don't get pre-clearance
Oh, they don't. Okay.
when they depart. So they have to go to Concourse G for customs.
Right?
And the departure, then they will tow the aircraft around to the other side of the airport. So
Yes.
that's where it's going. So it's going to get a gate reassigned here.
Okay.
Charlie,
Excuse me, Bravo Delta.
Probably over on the Echo gates.
Bravo Delta Quebec. Bravo Delta Quebec.
Get a Southwest Airlines. Minneapolis International. 737-800. Look at that. Beautiful shot.
So I have to wait for them to go by us and start to calm down a little bit, but I wanted to give a shout out to Jennifer Welke, who says hi from Wisconsin, who's watching. Well, thank you so much.
Great.
1566, contact
Yep,
departure.
just to the east of us.
Very close.
Our neighbors to the
That's
east
right.
in Wisconsin.
The Cheeseheads.
Now, if we get too more involved in that, we're going to hear it from Alex because of his favorite
Go,
football
Pack,
team.
go.
Yep.
You might not get too many arguments out of that, Alex, here.
2809 Minneapolis, push approved, runway 30 right.
I've never been to Green Bay.
It is a very nice city, I will say that.
And it's cool that the city owns the team, though, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Next time I go there, I want to tour Lambeau. That's for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other fantastic places, too. Not just Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin, but just
Well, it's the
restaurants.
gateway to Door County, too.
Yeah.
Yep. Look at all those widgets.
Super
I
4,
love it.
Delta and Papa now.
Delta Papa, Super 4.
I'm also sure that you will agree with me, John, that I would have much preferred if those were red tails instead.
In WA.
All
Well,
the
a lot
way.
of them are probably have the registration on the tails still of Northwest.
Oh, they do?
Yep, they sure do. There goes Swoop. You're right, Alex. Just as you predicted, getting towed over to the other side of the airport.
I think they're going over to SeaWorld,
Oh, is it SeaWorld? Okay.
a.k.a. the Sea Concourse
Right.
at MSP.
What do you think of that
799 taxi via Mike 6.
livery? What do you think of that? Pink.
Oh, it's flamboyant.
I love it. That's great. It's pink. What do we got here, RJ? You got that pulled up?
Oh, coming in on short
Yep,
final.
that's the Santa Ana, Orange County, A220.
Well, alert. Yep, Delta 1613.
I'm gonna just have to
Not a bad flight time, getting here 3 hours and 12 minutes from Orange County. That's not too bad. Looks like that storm's moving out over there too, away from us. That's great.
Turn right at the runway, contact
Yeah,
ground
you know what? It's
point
always a little deceiving
Right at the
because I've
runway,
got a
contact
weather
ground
radar
point
pulled up on my phone, and it's actually further away from us than it looks.
Then it looks, I'll bet.
Yeah, it's
789, however
some
you
of
would
it.
like to
Well,
get there.
one spot of it is actually right now just north of Prescott, and right over the St. Croix River.
We were just talking about that.
So,
1613
and that's where the
runway
St.
4
Croix
Papa.
River merges into the Mississippi.
That's right. Yep. Stillwater, Minnesota. Very famous river town here in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's known as the birthplace of Minnesota
You are correct. That's true.
because that's where we lived before moving to Florida.
Minneapolis ground taxi via Papa.
Got another 220 coming in shortly from Milwaukee.
127 Minneapolis Tower, number 3, wind 320 at 8, runway 30 left, cleared to land.
Now, John, have you had the opportunity to fly the A220?
I have not. I have not been on the A220. No, I have not. It doesn't seem to be going to the destinations that I would go to. But one of these days I'll jump on that.
What was your favorite destination to fly? Could be domestic, could be international. Where was that one place where you were like, all right, we're going?
We're here. Yeah, we're here.
Yep.
You know, that's an easy one for me. Domestically, that would definitely be San Diego.
Oh, that's an interesting arrival.
Loved San Diego. Great arrival. Yep, right over to
Yes.
the parking ramp. Northwest Airlines, we used to have long layovers there. And then after the long layover, the next day we would just get on a 320 and go up to, if you can believe this, flew San Diego to LAX, turned around, went back to San Diego, and had another layover. That was a dream trip. But that's my favorite place domestically. Internationally, my favorite place to go, well, I did Amsterdam a ton, but I'd probably have to say London. I loved London. London was a great town to be in. Fire department's heading back.
Taxi via Mike and Quebec cross runway 4.
Mike, Quebec cross runway 4, Delta 28.
That they are.
There they are, yep. They just got their safety lights on. They're strobes.
That's what I always call them.
Yeah, the strobes.
Delta 1242, Charlie going to Gulf.
Now, have you seen the new Oshkosh 4x4 Striker trucks? Those are the really big fire trucks that Mack has in its arsenal.
I don't think I've seen it here, but I have seen a documentary on it on television. I think Dallas-Fort Worth has them too.
They are amazing trucks.
Yeah, they go through anything. Four-wheel drive, I believe, too, aren't they? I believe they are, yeah.
All right, I'm checking in on our departures here on Flight Radar, and we'll keep a heads up a little bit for our Air France.
Oh, great.
They were scheduled for 7:40. They're now 8:02.
Okay, running a little behind schedule.
Yep. Amsterdam 162, scheduled 7:55. Delayed till 8:30.
Wow.
Our Delta Reykjavik flight, 7:59 departure, 8:16.
Okay. Not too bad.
Rome.
Uh-oh.
Delta 298, 8:05, scheduled, estimated 8:22.
Okay, so running a little behind, not too awful.
Let's see what else we can pull up here. And I'm kind of concentrating on the heavies.
Always good.
I think we kind of all are.
We like our
So,
heavies. There's nothing
yes.
wrong with us.
Yeah, I was going to say, so there's absolutely no shame in that. We all are. We're all focused on, okay, what is the next big jet going to be out of here?
I was here Friday night, Alex, for 3 hours, and there were 4 heavies in a row lined up right over there going. It was Air France,
1037,
Dublin,
runway,
Amsterdam,
left, taxi via Delta
and I think Rome. All went pretty much. There were some delays in there too. But that was cool to see.
It was.
Runway 30 left, cleared to land.
And I know we won't be able to share this one with our viewers, but Delta 164 scheduled at 9:40.
To Amsterdam.
Updated departure 9:54. So
Not too bad.
So there's one thing I've noticed scrolling through Flight Radar 24 right now. There's no Bemidji Aviation. Do they not fly on Sundays?
Good question. They come in here a lot.
Yeah, or is it because of the unfortunate weather that went through up in that area last weekend?
And I think that's
And they're not back. Are they not back to fly?
They had
I would
some
hope not.
really bad damage up there. As we said, folks, the weather has not been that great in Minnesota this year, unfortunately.
And Blue Street 5593, our new departure clearance time is 0050, so about 10 minutes. We can go 5 minutes either side of that, so 45 to 55.
All right, our Iceland Air back to Reykjavik, scheduled 7:30, estimated 7:55.
Almost 30-minute delay there. Yeah, everything's delayed tonight. I wonder what's going on.
Well, did they come in late?
Yeah, they did. You're right.
So-
They did come in late. Could be. That could be it. Sure.
Yeah, so that something like that can trigger the flight going out to be running a little late, because if they came in late,
I'm willing to bet that is the case.
And you need
27 to go to 21.8.
How are we doing on the comments there, RJ? Any other interesting comments you're seeing?
Go back to that.
I'm not monitoring that right now.
Just a Freebird says awesome zoom lens on your camera. Yeah, you're welcome.
Charlie ground point 9 and over for an message.
We have a digital extender too on our camera that allows us to get a little bit more reach than what the max optical range will allow.
There's your favorite airplane over there, RJ, the 757-300, heading to San Francisco.
Oh, I missed my salute.
Yep, you did. You missed your salute. Oh, well. I think it came in from San Francisco earlier. It's heading right back.
Look at the climb out.
Look at that. Yeah.
Well, that's typical for a 7.5.
Fantastic.
So our Micah has let us all know. Thankfully, most of the damage was to what is the GA mean? General Aviation property, and the aircraft at Bemidji don't think Bemidji Aviation had much trouble. So yeah, we had a pretty severe line of weather go through, what was it, a week ago Friday night, and it really hit the Bemidji area really hard.
Yes.
And a lot of tree damage.
I think it was a tornado, I believe.
I don't think.
No?
I'm not sure they had a confirmed tornado up there, but it was equivalent to
100-mile-an-hour straight
the
winds,
wind.
yeah.
They
like a
said
Cat 2 hurricane.
Actually, a Cat 3.
Was it a Cat 3? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it blew down a lot of trees up there, and I do believe that
there was a mesoscale convective system, or MCS. Essentially a land hurricane, if in the right conditions, just was hauling through Bemidji with 100-mile-an-hour, maybe greater gusts of straight-line wind damage.
It was bad. We'll have none of that down here.
And it was the same system, too, that swallowed a bunch of supercell thunderstorms that were wreaking havoc in North Dakota. That produced some stunning storm structures and violent tornadoes.
Oh, it's the same storm, right? Just came across the border into Minnesota. Yep.
And I do know, if I haven't checked here in the last 24, 48 hours, but I do believe Bemidji State Park is still closed, and is closed indefinitely because they got hit.
Direct hit.
Really bad up there because of all the trees that were down. I mean, there were people up there camping.
See, folks, if you want your Minnesota weather news, just come right here to MSP Airport Live, and you'll get all the weather happening in Minnesota.
So, yeah, I do believe that Bemidji State Park is still closed, and they are indefinitely until they can clean up everything from what went through up there.
We never saw that engine get towed down, did we? Where'd that go? Get a hold of that guy.
Yeah, where's our... It's got to be Pratt & Whitney. I'm a little partial.
Right. PW.
So, yeah, because, I was starting to think
Look at the mismatched door for the cargo hold.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Good call. Look at that. Well, earlier, I think we were having issues. Sun Country went by with a prime air engine cowling on one side. So you got an aqua blue.
There was one Sun Country 737 that looked more like a parts plane, if anything.
Whatever it takes to keep them flying, right? Whatever it takes.
Yeah, despite the fact that it looked like it had an identity crisis, it was still airworthy and still doing its job.
That's
so
right.
There's that.
That's right. It does look strange, though, doesn't it? That's a good call.
Well, the French are pushing back from Terminal 1 with their 7879 Dreamliner headed to Paris. And of course, where else?
I watched that take off here Friday night, and when those engines spool up, it almost sounds like a fire truck engine at first. Kind of like a siren wail. And then it gets real quiet. It's a very quiet aircraft when it takes off.
It certainly is. Same with the A330-900 Neo that it competes with.
Very quiet. Rolls-Royce engines on that, I believe.
Or the GE-NX turbofan engines. Agnes says, thanks for being persistent and getting this show on the air this afternoon. Well, you're very welcome.
Yeah, we don't like to quit.
No.
It can be
We're stubborn people, if you haven't noticed.
It can be pretty frustrating, but you're not one to give up that easily.
No, Alex does not give up, no.
And I think everybody out there should be like me. Give Alex a pat on the back
Thank you.
For being as tech savvy as he is to keep everything running as best as we can.
Believe me, folks, he worked very hard at it.
Oh, I got to get back up on the ladder for that. Was not prepared.
Yep,
sorry, Alex. We should have given you a heads up. Very nice.
Yeah, that was Sun Country. 1037 headed to Spokane. Yeah, we don't like it when we miss them. We're just, you know.
Yeah, that's what the people want.
Yeah, that's
We've missed enough today.
No kidding. We really have.
Getting off to a delayed start. But, of course, I don't think that even if we had the technical issues that we would have been able to
with the weather
continue to go live. Yeah, we were absolutely.
Well, we had to hop in our cars for a while.
Yep, we hid in our cars and we had
equipment covered.
Yep.
And I got a free shower today.
Free car wash. If there isn't any severe weather in the area, and if it's showing on the radar, we're going to get enough of a shower. I'll literally go back my car out, put some soap on a sponge, and go wash my car and let the rain.
She's giving away family secrets, Alex.
Well, you're not paying for the water.
There's that weather.
Yeah, there it is.
United 1237, Minneapolis ground, push approved.
Push approved, United 1237.
You can certainly see it from here, that's for sure.
So that's what we were kind of seeing off in the distance earlier that we kept pointing out.
American 21.
I love that strobe on the 787. That just blink. You know, remember the old school ones? They would rotate.
Yes.
Remember those?
Yep.
RJ remembers those.
I do.
They'd rotate.
And I like the ones that, you know, as they blink, it's like a pop.
Yes. Yes.
Instead of a flash. Where it's, you know, I can tell the difference. Where I think the 78 is more like a flash.
Right.
And I always like the strobes on the 10s.
Boy, I almost don't remember those.
Oh, I do. I flew on them quite a bit. Some of them more than once when I was going back and forth between here and Tampa.
Okay.
Or there up.
Okay, yeah.
I actually kept track.
They took them to Florida.
Yeah, to fly a little bit of cargo.
All right, let's do a spotter guide on our Air France 787-9 Dreamliner, presented in part by DG Pilot. So you can see the stats on the left-hand portion of your screen. These aircraft are all over the Air France system. They connect the French homeland with their outer-lying territories across the globe, in addition to being a common site here in North America, especially at MSP Airport in the summertime, in the spring, even a little bit of the fall when Air France flies in and out of Minneapolis, St. Paul International seasonally.
Look at the range on that, 8,710 miles.
Almost 9,000 miles. They are marathon runners.
Yes, they are.
So the two engine choices that you have for the 787-9 Dreamliners are the GE NX-1Bs. That B suffix stands for Boeing, which is what Air France chose, or the Trent 1000, which is the Rolls-Royce engine offering.
Right. I think I was speaking of the A330-9. It's got the Rolls-Royce engine. Yeah. Is that right, Alex? Am I right on that? I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah, the Trent 1000 is very popular.
And here's our so-called Gopher Pod livery.
Go Gophs.
Charlie, Tango, Delta, 636.
Ski ma, as they say.
That's right. I think, was it Nick that was here earlier, or Mike? Mike was saying they run the sports teams on that one when they can.
That's true.
Yep. Meaning the U of M sports teams, the basketball teams, football teams, probably the hockey teams. I like it.
6593, give way to a CRJ, heading to the right.
I think that livery was so brilliantly designed. I don't think that there's really a bad color combination for it.
No, it's really nice. I really like the S on the tail too, and that burgundy, that maroon and gold is their U of M's colors.
Yeah, for sure.
2104 Minneapolis.
They came in from Nashville.
30 left, continue to whiskey, cross runway 4.
That left here earlier today, I believe. We saw that going.
A Gopher Pod?
Yep, it was here earlier.
Okay, so they went down to Nashville and back.
I believe they did.
Alrighty then.
I love it.
All right, so it looks like we got Air France. It's about ready to head for takeoff here.
I like hearing my clear for takeoff.
United 1237, taxi to Duluth.
United 1237, let's go down to 1 via Charlie 6 and on to runway 4, short of Quebec.
Charlie 6 on to runway 4.
So Air France are going to be making their way to runway 30 left here for departure. And we got American that's making their way to runway 17.
So 17 must be active again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. When the winds are light and variable, you'll have a mixed flow, which will put most of the narrow-body departures on runway 17, and the arrivals will stick to the parallels. But if there is a strong enough breeze and the winds are blowing in the right direction, you will get pure parallel operations, so no use of the north-south runway.
126.7, good day.
Alex at American is heading down to the headquarters in Dallas-Fort Worth.
There are a lot of flights to DFW.
Minneapolis Tower 13306, runway 30 left, line up and wait, you're following traffic off the parallel.
So Chicago and Denver actually compete for the busiest routes out of MSP Airport domestically. They kind of switch places quite a bit on the leaderboard.
That's something, I do remember that.
Yeah, because you got all three main American legacy carriers, United, American, and Delta, all going to Chicago O'Hare. Then, of course, you've got the regional affiliates, right? You've got Envoy Air that goes to Chicago O'Hare, right? Yeah, SkyWest, the list goes on.
Right, Endeavor.
So, Alex, I'm looking to kind of catch up on our chat a little bit. Delta asks, are there any other good spots for photography other than the viewing area and the dog park?
There certainly are. If you've ever gone over to Taft Park when 12 ops are active, and in the afternoon, you will get some incredible flyover shots.
Where's that, Alex? Taft Park?
So Taft Park.
Where is that?
Is in Richfield, Minnesota.
Okay.
So just west of the airport.
Right. Okay.
You know where the Home Depot is over here?
Yes, I do.
Just past that, just around the corner.
That's real close.
Yep.
And that's an excellent photo and video spot for catching arrivals on runway 12 right. You can really get some good images from there. On the 30 left end, you can also go to the trailhead at the Fort Snelling State Park. You get off on Post Road and take that little road down to the park office.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you park, and then you walk up. It's a little bit of a hike. There's a steep incline, but it is well worth the trek up to that location. Go right next to that wooden fence. Just to the side of the flight path, you can get some, during the evening, you can get some real stunning captures for video and photos.
Yeah.
They'll let you walk up there, but I don't think they let you park.
You can park there. You just have to make sure that you have a state park sticker on your car or a one-day $7 pass for the day. You'll be fine.
Got Allegiant on the roll here. There goes Allegiant. That sunburst tail.
And it looks like our Air France is turning onto the runway.
Flight runway heading, runway 30 left, clear for takeoff.
This is kind of what we live for here, isn't it? The wide-body departures.
Oh, yeah.
especially a 787 since Delta doesn't have those in their fleet.
No, and this is what I've explained to people when the two airlines merge with Northwest and Delta. The thing of it is that, like, say, for example, Delta flew 767s and 777s at the time. Northwest did not, but Northwest flew the A330s.
They did.
So
and Delta loves them.
But Delta did not. So there's a way to kind of figure out which aircraft were which with airline at the merge.
Well, here they go, Air France.
On the roll.
Looks like they did a turn and burn.
Always good to see.
Oh, yeah.
Here they come, off to Paris.
Taxi via Quebec, Mike, hold short, runway 30 left.
Quebec, Mike, hold short, 30 left, United 1237. Delta 2932, ready taxi Zulu.
Delta 2932, runway 30 left, taxi via Charlie 5, Charlie, and Alpha.
30 left, Charlie 5, Charlie Alpha.
It's going to lift off right in front of us. Beautiful.
Information November is now current, altimeter 2987. United 1237, monitor tower 126.7.
26.7, we'll monitor United 1237.
Next stop, Charles de Gaulle, right, Alex?
Oh, yeah. Now, look at the turnout. That is incredible.
Yep, headed right at downtown Minneapolis, so they'll get a good view of downtown as they...
For sure. The Twins playing tonight?
I'm not sure. Well, they would have. They probably would have played this afternoon.
Okay.
They're in the Motor City. They're getting...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they're getting their rear handed to them by the Tigers. I mean,
again?
Who would have thought, after so many years of just poor results, the Detroit Tigers, out of all teams,
first place.
They have an incredible young core. They are one of the best teams in the major leagues.
Isn't that something?
They're well over 50 wins.
Oh, they're going to go a little bit to the west of downtown. Oh, well.
I was just reading that in the sports page the other day, Alex.
It's always a little different. So
that city and that team needs it.
I really wanted the Lions to win the Super Bowl this year.
I think we all did.
Yeah, I really did. I was
well,
really
except if you were a fan
them.
of the other team, but of course, yeah, I think a lot of people really want to see the Detroit Lions get to the big dance.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Mike, cross runway 30 left.
And even I do as a Packer fan. I mean, that fan base has suffered for far too long, and they are really getting.
And they were good this year. They were
their
fantastic.
GM, head coach Dan Campbell. They have a really rock solid organization that they've really kind of constructed over the past few years, and to see what they have done with their draft picks and the different pieces that they've been able to kind of move around, it's excellent. Wish them the best of luck.
Always anticipate the NFL season starting back up, don't we?
Yeah. Speaking of the NFL season, we actually have NFL charters that are going to be making their way to the Twin Cities of interest. So we have the Patriots 767-300.
Nice.
That'll be arriving here during the preseason when the Vikings play the Patriots.
Great.
And then the Minnesota Vikings will play the Baltimore Ravens. And the Baltimore Ravens are chartered by the Atlas Air 747 400 passenger configuration.
I did not know that.
That's right.
Wow.
One of 3 teams in the National Football League to have a 747 400 charter.
Well, here's another.
The other two are the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow, didn't know that. Maybe that's fantastic.
You learn something new every day. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know this because I commuted to Phoenix for 10 or 12 years in the wintertime, and Northwest has 2 of their old 777s down there, and they are both owned by the Phoenix Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals. Did you know that, Alex?
Yep.
They got the red bird on the tail.
Yeah.
So it would have been Delta.
Yeah, they're Delta 777s down there. I've seen them parked side by side. I don't know why they have 2 of them, but they do.
Paul Hansen special.
The 321 Neo.
We got them.
Headed to Atlanta.
Got a big gray heron flying over the field right in front of us, Alex. I don't know if you see that or not.
Yeah, I see it.
He better get out of the way.
There he is.
Look at that. What a beautiful shot. Yep, that came up from the river bottoms down that we were just talking about, the Minnesota River from the National Wildlife Refuge. He's going to go compete with that Airbus. Look at that.
Oh, did you see that flip with the tail rudder? Oh, you were focusing in on the heron.
I was.
Yeah,
we had some waterfowl to show our viewers on
yes,
stream.
of course. So they, as they're doing all their pre-flight checks, as they're taxiing out, they flip the tail rudder side to side.
Right. Yep. Make sure. Yep. Part of the pre checklist on the taxi out.
Yep.
Make sure everything's loose and working. Controls are all clear, but of course on the Airbus you got the joystick and not a yoke.
Exactly.
There are some pilots that just do not like the side stick.
I know a pilot that doesn't like the side stick. He will remain unnamed.
That's totally good. So while we have a little bit of
and that's okay, by the way, too. As I like to say, different yokes for different folks.
Yep.
Good one, Alex.
See, my dad only flew a yoke, so I'm not sure how well he would have adapted to a side stick.
Yeah.
So Airbus was not involved in commercial aviation like they are now back when my dad was flying. So they had.
The Airbus came around in 1974, and they were so unproven.
Mm-hmm.
And when they debuted their Airbus A300, that was the aircraft that started Airbus. And it was a free gift to Eastern Airlines that really kind of kicked off Airbus's rise to dominance.
They gave it to him free?
Yeah.
I did not know.
Because they couldn't get rid of them.
Was that the A300? 310?
Yeah, the A300. That would be correct.
Wow.
They couldn't get rid of them.
No kidding. Wow. Well, like I said, advertising, right?
Yeah, and Eastern, they needed some new aircraft, and they're like, you know what? Why not? And they just fell in love with the A310.
Yeah,
they did.
They did.
And when the A300 started proving itself in spades for Eastern and other airlines, Airbus almost overnight became a huge success because they knew if they were going to be successful, they had to capture the American market at the time.
Right. Totally.
If they failed in the American market, the other markets that they could make sales in, the European market, the Asian market, they just not enough to keep the business.
That's a great history lesson, Alex.
Yep.
That's very interesting. Very interesting.
So if it wasn't for Eastern Airlines taking that chance of the A300, Airbus, they would just probably be lost to history unlike the other European-based carriers of the past.
And earlier today, didn't we see UPS taxi by us in an A300?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Those A300s, they were an airframe that was manufactured for a long time. And UPS and FedEx have them in pretty big numbers as freight aircraft. We see them all the time here at MSP Airport. And there is also news that I kind of want to bring up as well. While we're on the subject of the A300, FedEx just retired a bunch of A300s. I think a lot of people just look at the A300 and go, whatever. But those aircraft, many of them, they're getting pretty old.
Mm-hmm. A lot of
they
cycles.
are as old as, exactly. They're getting up there
pushing
in cycles.
30 years, probably.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, just like the MD-11s that everyone cherishes.
Mega dog.
Yeah. So the A300 is just as much of a classic as the MD-11, the DC-10. And I know it's not the most interesting looking airplane, but I think it holds a special place.
You know where you want to go see a lot of older aircraft like you're talking about, like that, and 737-200s? Go to Miami.
Yeah.
You head down to Miami, and they're going to Latin America with a lot of cargo.
They are. There's a lot of classic freighters and
the MD-80s down there, too.
Spot down there. Yeah, that's another good
Yeah,
point, too.
yeah.
There's a lot of MD-80 traffic down there.
There certainly is.
Because you've got airlines coming from all across the Caribbean, coming from South America,
Latin
Central America.
Yes,
yeah, they're coming from all over. So it's this huge melting pot.
Ice is pushed.
It really is. It's they got quite a cargo operation down there.
747s.
I was just down there on a cruise, and as I was leaving Miami, I had about 5 hours to kill, and walked around, and I saw El Al was on the ground there, which was really cool to see.
Oh, wow.
Nonstop from Miami to Tel Aviv. That was in April.
El Al, the flag carrier of Israel. Now, boy, are they falling on some tough times
certainly
given the
have.
conflicts in that part of the world right now.
Yeah, they were using a 787 on that route.
So everybody's gotten their history lesson for today involving Airbus.
Totally. Absolutely.
As I remember it anyways.
Yeah.
You remembered it well.
It's like that picture that I know I've mentioned before that I have in our family photo album of my dad and my uncle standing together down at my other aunt and uncle's dairy farm in southeastern Minnesota, and you know what they were talking about. John's looking at me with that firm look. It's just
tight lip, my pursed
You
lips.
didn't even need to say anything, and you both knew.
My dad and my uncle Bob were so dedicated to flying for Northwest. It was their life. It was their passion.
Sure, yeah,
So
that
whenever
was-
they were together, and it was occasions like that where we were together because, you know, they were both flying.
Right.
So,
Good times.
yes.
Good times. The aviation industry was a great.
I should try to dig
Industry to
that
grow up
photo
in.
out and bring it out here.
What do we got here? Look at that.
Climbing out of a runway 30 left is Delta 2932 headed to Raleigh-Durham in A321. So that's just what buzzed us.
Well, they're a little bit on the fuller side, though, with that flight to Raleigh-Durham, because typically I think they will fly them with the Airbus A320s.
Isn't Delta building up a mini little hub down there in Raleigh-Durham?
Kind of sounds like
Yeah,
it, yeah.
it does, doesn't it? Yep. And Austin, Texas, also.
Yeah, Delta is
Going to be big.
getting aggressive with their
They are.
plans for the future, and you know you like to see that, as you know, especially around here too. I mean, Delta is my favorite legacy carrier to fly on by a country mile.
Mm-hmm.
And here in the Twin Cities, we are so lucky to have Delta as our primary hub airline.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You really can go
It's not that
anywhere
I-
in the
Oh,
world
yeah, go
on
ahead.
one stop. You know, if you get to Amsterdam and take KLM, you can go anywhere in the world on Delta with one stop.
Yeah.
So just as an update, IC's taxing.
All right.
RJ, didn't you say Rome's running a little late tonight?
1563 Minneapolis Tower.
It's an 8:05 departure.
Yeah.
They're running a little bit late.
Unfortunately, I think there's
Not much, though.
there's some.
I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, I'll let you check in on it this time.
Definitely called you Endeavor, but Envoy 4151, turn right heading 230.
And I'm going to give a shout out, hello back to Kush. He says, good evening from Dinkytown. Thank you for watching. And we had a Joe Waz say, I'm not familiar with the crew. Is one of the spotters a pilot? So if you're referring to us on the broadcast team, well, we've got Alex on the camera. He's got a big dedication into aviation and a true av geek. You want to say anything more,
They
Alex,
might be
or-
referring to me. What do you think, Alex?
Oh, probably. But I figured, you know, we can mention a little bit about the three of us.
Absolutely.
Sorry, guys. I'm focused on our 717 here that's
There you-
taxing. I love these aircraft.
717s.
But yeah, this viewer, you're probably thinking of John.
Yes, I was a Delta Airlines, not a pilot, but I was a Delta Airlines flight attendant for 40 years. I retired in 2020, and I started my career out with Republic Airlines in 1980. 20 years old, got hired there. Was there for 6 years. Then Northwest Airlines came around and was with Northwest up until the merge in 09 with Delta. So But I'm an av geek, love airplanes, have lots of pilot friends, so know a lot of the lingo, and just it's a great hobby.
And now you're one of us.
No, I guess
Yes.
I am. I think I always have been, but you just didn't know it.
Didn't know it yet.
So I hope that helps a little bit. And of course, I've
Thanks,
mentioned my background. My dad was a pilot for 31 years. My uncle flew as well. He flew till he retired at 60. My mom was a stewardess back in the days of the
That's right.
Stratocruisers, and that's how they met. Dated for many years. Eventually got married. The rest is history.
A true stewardess.
Yes. And of course, I was born and raised in this area. An unfortunate event, a health event involving my dad.
Ended his life short, didn't it?
Yeah, well, he survived it, but it wasn't in a normal state.
Okay.
And that's what kind of triggered the decision on my mom's part to move him down to property we had in the Tampa area. I went with. Unfortunately, we lost my dad when I was a junior in high school. So that's actually when it happened. I think I was about a senior in
And who
college when
was
he
he a
passed.
747 captain then?
Oh, yes.
That's what I thought. I
Yep.
remember.
So it was my uncle. So then it was just my mom and I down there. My brother was up here. Then my brother passed in 17. I lost my mom in October of 2020.
I'm sure people remember your dad, Captain.
Bill
tell me,
Bean.
Captain Bill Bean.
Yep.
There you go. Northwest Airlines 747.
And my uncle
captain.
was Bob.
Bill and
So-
Bob Bean?
Yep.
I love it.
Bill and Bob.
Bill and Bob Bean. The Bean
awesome.
Brothers.
Well, my dad was technically William, and my uncle was technically Robert.
Right.
So
I like Bill. I like Bob and Bill Bean.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And then when I unfortunately lost my mom during COVID in October of 2020,
Oh, boy.
it was not because of COVID. I had already made the decision I wanted to be back up here. It wasn't a matter if, it was when, and it just took me into.
It's hard to leave Minnesota with
Yeah.
all the bad weather and everything, right, Alex? We do love it in the Midwest.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Mr. Honesty over here. Well, how could we leave MSP Airport live? You can't.
So yeah, and I think the first time that I met Alex out here, he offered me to come on as a guest. I wasn't sure if I was comfortable to do it at the time when I found out of the viewing area from someone who came in to visit the History Center. But the second time I was out here when he was here, I said, what the heck? And the rest is history as far as me being a part of the stream. So,
Perfect.
And I've been pretty persistent of wanting to be out here because of this time of the year. It allows me to do it during the winter months. I have other obligations. I do have a seasonal position at one of the ski resorts here, so it just all kind of depends on where that goes.
Alex is tuned in there with the beam on. Sun Country just landed. I think that's our first arrival from Detroit. I came in from Detroit. I don't know if they service Detroit very much.
No, they don't.
I didn't
actually
think
flew
so.
to. Fun fact: I actually flew to Detroit on Sun Country Airlines.
Okay.
Let me just say, after I got off the aircraft, it wasn't. Sun Country doesn't go to the McNamara terminal.
Oh, they don't.
That's the main terminal at
Yeah.
DTW. That's
Okay.
where Delta goes. They went to the other terminal
Okay.
at DTW.
The other. Yeah, I rarely see a Sun Country plane going Detroit, Minneapolis, or vice versa.
Let me just say, when I got off the plane, I was looking for, and it was an earlier morning flight too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been busy.
I was looking for somewhere to get some chow. And there's a lot of places inside that airport that were just closed or that weren't even like full service. And like the mall has more full service establishments to get fueled up than that. And I'm like, man.
So we've been busy.
I did not enjoy my stay at DTW, but that's the other terminal, not the main terminal at DTW.
Right.
So I will.
Our Terminal 2 equivalent, but not even as good as that, probably.
So we've been busy doing here a lot of chatting, kind of sharing about ourselves a little bit. We do have a heavy departure coming. 298 to Rome is down there at the end of 30 left.
No place like Rome, right?
Yep. And then our Iceland Air departure is down there as well. So just so we know that they're coming when they're cleared.
Well, if I may, I'm going to give a little shout out to the Delta Airlines crew laying over in Rome right now that left on 298 on Friday when I was here, especially to Richard, Patty, Corinne, Tammy. I covered four of the 10.
Oh, nice. And I know that you have so many connections because of just your tenure at Delta and even going back all the way to your beginnings with the Republic and then Northwest. I mean, 40 incredible years of flying. I don't think a lot of people that, especially in your line of work, that can really kind of say that. I mean, you've really
Not really. Yeah, thank you, Alex.
That's a long time.
Told you I did the math on the miles. 17 million in 40 years. Yep.
Yeah, the fact that
multiple
you
million miler.
That's right.
Well, many people would think you'd already get tired out of doing that, but no, you just can't get enough of it.
It's true.
Well, I'll tell you what, the passion that you have, we're so thankful to have that on our broadcast here and just to welcome you on board with our MSP Airport Live team.
I'm loving every minute of it. Every minute of it.
Thank you, John Joseph.
Thanks, buddy.
And if you are just tuning in, that was John Joseph. I'm Alex Redding. We're also hosting tonight with RJ Bean. It's a full house here in the broadcast booth.
More the better.
Right on the flight line for runway 30 left, which is active here at MSP Airport.
Yep, Iceland Air is rolled.
Okay, push through for Delta 260.
Here they come.
And there's the Rome departure right behind them. And they're on the move now, too. Cleared onto the runway.
.298 heavy, turn right, heading 360, only 30 left, clip takeoff.
Right turn.
3730,
I still can't get used to a narrow body going to Iceland. I don't know why. It just doesn't, unless it's a 7.5.
Well, Delta does that in the summer. So a heads up, we might have had a turn and burn coming from Delta 298 to Rome.
Oh yeah, they're on the roll now. Here they come.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no wasting time today.
No.
I'm a little late on my roll to rotate salute. Darn it.
Perfect shot, Alex. Look at that. Right past the hangars. Rotation. Gear up. That's beautiful. 9 hours and 5 minutes, and they'll be in Italy. I think that's Delta's longest flight to Europe right now out of MSP is Rome.
3730, heading 180.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's 9:08. 9:05 to 9:10.
Push through 30 left.
About an hour more on the way home, about 10 hours on the way back.
Delta 23, defense ground, call you back in a couple minutes. Got one outbound, one inbound to the alley.
Look at that turn.
Those 330s, they also generate quite a lot of noise. Hey, we have a new member on Buy Me a Coffee. I think that's our first. Thank you so much for supporting our General Fund through Buy Me a Coffee. We are continuing to try and encourage folks to move over from Patreon to Buy Me a Coffee.
Oh, and I have to throw in a comment from Rick S. Airplanes and hummingbirds. What more could you ask for on a Sunday evening?
Nothing.
And the June bugs.
Oh, let's hope not.
Yeah.
No more doing laps around our cars. That's not the way we want to get our steps in on a Fitbit.
No. Kemp, just this static view. It's dark out, and you just hear me and other people, Evan, just in the background running around screaming like little kids. Because we are getting attacked by June bugs.
That was a couple weeks ago.
I know that you were going to town and you were killing a bunch of them too, RJ.
Oh.
Helping us out.
Yep.
.46 on the ground, 121.8.
And I'm a little past saying this, but Steve Lunderby says, "Go Gophers." That was back when we had our Gopher pod taxiing by us.
Nice.
And then, yeah, North Midwest Buzzsaw, Ski-U-Ma. Pronounced Sky-U-Ma. Love that.
Thank you for the correction. I could never remember if it was ski or Sky-U-Ma.
Sky.
Should call it Sky-U-Ma 1.
2692 traffic at the right follows you.
Sun Country does a good job with all that. They're different liveries. 40 years. I think they got on the side of their plane now. They've been here. They've been in business 40 years.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Remember when they used to have the DC-10?
And they had the rarest version of the DC-10, the rarest variant ever produced. I think there were under 10 made by McDonnell Douglas.
Okay.
The DC-10-15.
No kidding. Now that I didn't know.
It was a high-thrust version of the DC-10-10, which was the first generation of DC-10 aircraft produced by McDonnell Douglas. But this was a performance-tuned version for hot and high airports such as Denver, Salt Lake, Mexico City, that needed a lot more power under load to get off the ground.
I remember Mexicana had DC-10s.
Yep, and a lot of the ex-Mexicana DC-10s,
yes,
the DC-10-15s that they had, many of them wound up flying for Sun Country.
Is that right?
Yep, and
wow.
they were based here in Minneapolis.
Well, you're just full of great information, Alex. I love that.
Well, you're welcome. I looked that up one night. I'm like, no way, that is just so interesting.
There's so much
One of the
history,
things
isn't
that-
there?
Yeah.
I mean, you can always learn something about airplanes and history and airlines, and Northwest Airlines also had the DC-10. I believe they had the DC-10-30s. There's a CRJ 900. And if the DC-10-15 you were talking about was built for high performance, high altitude, and hot, Northwest had the DC-10-30s with the center landing gear on it.
That's right.
For weight. So they could have heavier landings, heavier taxis, and heavier takeoffs.
To carry more fuel, that would increase the range.
Right.
So that's what they had to add, that third set of main gears.
Right. That's right.
5530 heading 180, contact departure, have a good one.
Well, it looks like Delta 1484 Heavy off to Detroit Metro is pushing back from Concourse G over at Terminal 1.
Would that be the flight you're taking next month, Alex?
That would be correct.
Okay.
So, folks, I will be flying the A350 for the first time in August, and I cannot wait for that trip to Detroit. So they are pushing back for runway 30 left. You can see they are steering the aircraft in the direction to taxi Alpha to the threshold of 30 left, where they will be taking off. So we'll have the A350 departing in front of our lens in not
Delta's current flagship, the A350-900, and as I understand it, I believe they have on order the A350-1000. Is that correct?
They did. I think they put that on pause, though, just because of some of the tariffs.
Oh, is that what they did?
That were being
Okay.
imposed, yeah.
It's coming. It's coming.
Well, if Delta found a way to work around them, I mean, hey, you know what? We'll have to see those orders get put back on the table, because that would be incredible for that aircraft to be based out of here and flying routes out of MSP.
You know, Alex,
A350-1000.
as a friend of mine once said, you'll learn here more by accident than anywhere else by design. Right here at MSP Airport. What do you think of that?
It's a very fascinating saying. I think that's been the whole course of this live streaming project. I want to say that, too.
No kidding. It's been challenging, but look what happened in the end. It all worked
It
out.
all
The
worked
weather
out.
worked out. The computer worked out. We got to see a bunch of wide bodies go, and of course we're going to get to see the flagship of Delta A350-900 take off here in just a couple minutes.
Of course,
For a
we like
short
to
flight
refer
to
to it
Detroit.
as
Oh, yes.
Big Sexy.
There you go.
The A350-900.
There you go. We're getting away from some
Somebody.
ground people there.
Yeah, they know of us.
They do.
I think there's a lot of people around here that
A nondescript red Chevy pickup.
And as I'm kind of checking in on our chat. I need to
Yeah, check it out.
say hi back to Max Kepke from Great Stream, watching from River Falls, Wisconsin.
All right.
I went to college there.
Oh, look at that.
So
That's great.
Thanks for watching and tuning in. I actually, that's one thing I haven't done since I've been back, is gone over to
River Falls.
to see how things are over there
See
since
the
I
old
was
haunt,
left there.
the old stomping grounds.
A little bit.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That would be
Because
very
I've been
fun.
out doing a lot of that sort of thing at this time of the year.
It's very fun.
It's like I'm trying to figure out when I need to get out and start back into my state park road trips. So if I'm not here to help co-host a stream, it's possibly because I'm out doing one of my road trips.
You can get us live anywhere in the world.
Because I need to get back to that. My trick now is I have to head north. So
Because of the heat?
no, because the way the hiking club book works for the Minnesota State Parks is that the idea of it is to visit the state parks that participate in it. You have to do the designated hiking club trail, and they are marked on the map for the park. Somewhere along the trail, there's a password sign. So you write down the password when you find it on the sign doing the trail into the book.
Interesting.
Each park trail has a designated distance, and every 25 miles that you hit, you can get a patch in the shape of the state of Minnesota with the number on it. Each,
Like a-
25, 50, 75, 100,
Like
and
a
so
badge,
on.
like a badge of honor.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a
Accomplishment.
milestone.
Yeah, that's great.
And they're a little
I
bit of-
collect patches too, so this interests me as well.
they are a little bit different colored. I'm up to the 100. Wow. And you also, during the hiking club book, as well as the passport book, can earn a couple of nights of free camping.
Very nice.
I don't camp, so I was able to convert the first free night of camping that I earned for both books into just a equivalent amount of a state park gift
Maybe
card.
turn into a glamping instead of a camping.
I'm not even into that either.
Okay, all right.
So it gets you out, gets you moving, hiking. I mean, there's nothing better than going hiking. And there's so many awesome parts of the state of Minnesota that can be pretty deceiving to people that have never been here. The southwest east corner of the state is known as the driftless area of the state, and it is really awesome
I've
down
heard that.
there.
Down by Lanesboro, Caledonia, Minnesota.
Yep.
South
Beautiful
of Winona.
Yep.
Great River Bluff State Park, Beaver Creek Valley, down in those areas. Of course, I'm a little bit partial to Afton State Park because of that area. And it always reminds me that, I'm back in Minnesota.
Getting a wide-angle shot of that weather, Alex.
Yes.
Yeah, that weather has really started to develop east of here.
It's building. Look at those thunderheads.
Yes.
Look at those thunderheads. Wow.
But getting back to my state park thing, I'll finish it off. I haven't done any of the parks north.
Okay.
So I've done this at all the state parks that are south of the Twin Cities, west of the Twin Cities in west central Minnesota, and the parks that are along the easternmost side of the state up to Jay Cook, just south of Duluth.
Oh, yeah. Very popular.
I've been to Jay Cook State Park
Yeah.
on the St. Louis River. That is a gorgeous state
Oh,
park.
yes.
Love the hiking.
Now, you get up to the state parks that are along Lake Superior, the North Shore. Those parks are really something because
I love it
of
up
the
there.
waterfalls.
Waterfalls, that's right.
Their proximity to be
You get high enough and you can see Lake Superior real clear.
Yes, and then some of them, they're right on Lake Superior. The end of the first winter I was back up here, I went up to Lutsen. So many people said, "You'd never been to Lutsen?" And I said, "Nope."
What do we got coming in here, Alex? My phone died.
My phone's just about there, too.
So we're relying on mine.
RJ, what do we got?
All right, just touching down is Delta 2695 from New Orleans.
Nice.
Former Northwest A320.
They passed Sun Country on the way here.
Wow.
They took off the Big Easy about an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
I mean, opposite directions. They passed each other. How's that 350 doing out there, Alex?
Well,
getting there.
Let's have a look.
There it is.
321 crossing
Right.
in the
There it is.
middle ground, and there is our Airbus A350. Another aircraft is
Right behind
going
us.
stride for stride with it, yeah.
Negative 126.7.
Both headed to 30 left.
2385.
Traffic may hold in position.
We're getting active here.
And we're going to want to catch the arrival that we have coming in on 30 left, because that's the big sexy arrival from Detroit.
Oh, look at that.
1303 heavy.
Yep. One 350 leaves and another one comes in to take its place. That's great.
I'm just stoked that we're doing the domestic A350 thing between
Yeah.
here and Detroit.
Hub to hub. The one leaving here is probably going to Seoul or Tokyo tomorrow, and the one coming in is probably going to Tokyo or Seoul tomorrow, ironically. There's the baby Airbus.
The minibus.
Yep. 319.
Headed to Washington National.
National, okay.
DCA.
It's about 3 of those we've seen take off from here today.
Yeah,
And
321 trailing.
Going to Salt Lake City.
Another big Delta hub. They're really building Salt Lake City up too a lot. In fact, they're going in May of 2026. They're going to start going nonstop Salt Lake City to Rome.
Big sexy on short final.
There it is.
All right, everybody, here we go. A350 time. Here's Delta 1303 Heavy from Detroit Metro.
American 2806, caution wake turbulence departing, or a heavy A350 is going to hold position. American 2806.
That could be pretty rare if the 350's coming in, the other 350's holding short in position, so they just
line up and wait, be ready to roll. Ready left.
saw their twin.
2961, flighting 180, runway 17, clear for takeoff. Delta 1303, turn right, runway 4 if you got it, otherwise Mike, contact ground point 9 when you exit.
1303, roger, we'll take Mike.
Delta 2385, Minneapolis Tower, no delay at Charlie, cross runway 30 left, taxi Whiskey, cross runway 4, heavy traffic getting in position, traffic on final.
Delta Charlie, cross runway 30 left, no delay, and cross runway 4 via Whiskey to runway 17, 2385.
So now I'm going to sneak in a couple more from our chat and say Phoenix Aviation says hello. Well, hello back.
Hey, thank you for tuning in tonight.
Wind is 310 at 6, fly runway heading.
Glad you could make it.
30 left.
Speaking of different engine callings, Alex, doesn't that 350 have a white engine calling on the back of it? Did you
Yes, it
notice
does.
that?
We got a wardrobe malfunction.
I see that. I hate to point out the obvious, but I just can't help it.
Nothing wrong with being observant.
When you do plane spotting for long enough, it's those things that you just tend to pick up on right away.
Right, that's right.
And no, it's not because we're bored.
No, no, not at all.
And ground Delta 1303, we're up to point 9, clear to cross 4 on Alpha. Delta 1303, no traffic.
Look at that. That is beautiful.
30 left, line up and wait.
What a great airplane.
Of course, we're focused in on Big Sexy at the moment, but we've got a former Northwest Red Tail passing by in front of us. 75-200 headed to Tampa.
Nice.
Delta 2385. So, with a U.S. tail number.
Nice, I see that.
Yeah.
5,600 maybe, is the tail? 56.
Delta 1469, Minneapolis Tower, American exits prior to you at Mike, cross runway 30 left, taxi via Whiskey, traffic in position.
Cross runway 30 left at Mike, join Whiskey, Delta 14.
Yeah, registration 542 U.S.
Nice.
going to get caught up again a little bit on our chat. Ludelmer, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, says, watching from Cannon Falls, Minnesota. Great night at the airfield. Thanks for sharing. Got to have my grandson come up on station. Too. He thinks he wants to study aviation in college. Also says this is a great warm-up for AirVenture in Oshkosh later this month. That's for sure. Wish I was
reminds
going.
me, I got to put in my time off request.
You're heading to Oshkosh?
Trying to.
Yeah.
I missed AirVenture last year. There'll be a 747 SP at Oshkosh this year.
No kidding.
It's a test bed aircraft. One of the last airworthy 747 SPs in existence.
Wow.
We're down to maybe a few or
Tell me when you're going. I'll go with you. I've never been.
I mean, I've never been to AirVenture. I've been to Sun and Fun quite a few times.
An SP.
I think you're wearing the Sun and Fun t-shirt too, RJ.
Yeah, this is from a 5K that I did virtually. I always wanted to do them in person, but they were so darn early on top of being there for the day for the event.
Now, Alex, I know you know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. SP stands for?
Special performance.
Attaboy. Nailed it.
You notice how fast he answered it?
Nailed it. I knew he would. God love him. That's great. Well, look at the exhaust come out of there. I
was going to say, we got a Smokey Joe on the loose.
That's awesome. That's great.
And our same viewer that I was just mentioning also said, seeing the weather build up and talk of 100-mile-an-hour straight line winds up north remind me of the typhoons I got to see during the 4-year trip.
Salute. 757-300.
Oh, I'm trying to sneak that one in.
Sorry to interrupt you there,
That's
RJ, but
right.
I know you wanted to catch that.
Yeah, says, I got to see during the 4-year trip our Uncle Sam gave to me to the Pacific. Great times. And also he says, nice camera work.
Yeah, there you go, Alex. Kudos to Alex.
Yeah.
See that little wing tilt there?
Yep.
Oh, wing wave?
Yeah, kind of looked like it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought I could.
I don't know if they engaged the autopilot at that point. May have.
On the runway, heading runway 17, clear for takeoff up to 23.5.
Well, he might still be hand flying at that altitude.
It's always going to depend on who's at the controls and whose airplane it is.
And I know we're not going to be able to see it, but passing by almost right above us at about 9,300 feet.
I see it.
We've got an arrival on the downwind coming in from Salt Lake City, Delta 2935.
Very nice. Right over the airport.
You know what? I think I might be able to
That's always fun
tilt
to
up
see.
and grab it here. Let me see if I can do that here real quick. These flyovers are really cool.
There it is. You got it. That's it, Alex. Look at that. Beautiful. Salt Lake City, you said, RJ? Right over the airport.
Yep.
900?
Yep, 73-9ER,
Very
Delta
nice.
2935.
Look how fast he's going. What was that? What was that flight number? I think the tower just talked to him.
2935.
He's smoking.
They're about 8,000 feet. That's why it's
there we go.
Always fun to be out here to do this because nothing like an extra set of eyes.
True.
That's why having a co-host or two co-hosts is an excellent thing.
So I'm going to squeak in another one here. Eric Jessica says, good evening. This live stream is amazing. Used to be a flight attendant with Compass Airlines. Love flying and everything about aviation. Great job and keep up the great work. Well,
we will. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're certainly going to strive for that.
Just gives you kind of a high looking at that, doesn't it, Alex?
It does.
It really does.
Runway 30 left line is White Delta 2931.
We're so fortunate to be so close to the runway.
230, contact departure. 230 departure, Delta 2145.
We're going to have a beautiful sunset tonight, by the way, too. It's going to be absolutely stunning.
Delta 2245, turn
There
right
it
on
is.
Delta, contact
Look at that.
ground,
Right turn ground, 0.9 Delta 2245.
Sun Country 1918,
Look
Minneapolis,
at that.
traffic exiting prior to you, traffic in position on taxiway
It's gonna be
Charlie,
nice.
cross runway 30 left and taxi via Charlie,
Yeah, we're now a week past the summer solstice, so
Take away the cars and the light poles, and you'd swear you're in Honolulu. Kidding.
Ground taxi to Park View. Park View, Delta 245.
Well, look at Swoop. They are really getting up
There
there.
goes Swoop. Yeah, look, they are. Wow. Maybe they're light. Listen to that.
Tower, Delta 2943, Narco inbound 30 left. Delta 2943, Minneapolis, tower traffic in position, wind 310 runway 30 left, middle left.
Well, here's our whale crossing, an A22300. They're called whales because those geared turbofan engines, they have contra-rotating fans that produce this whale call sound.
Mm.
And we might be able to give you a taste of what that sounds like. Pretty sure we're going to hear that whale call as they taxi by.
I thought that was exclusive to the 747, Alex. What's going on here?
nah.
There it is. I hear it.
There it is.
Thank you.
It does sound like a whale. You're right. I digress. That is a whale sound. There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the 7.4 is nicknamed the whale
Right.
or
By
Queen
its
of the
size,
Skies.
not by its sound.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll roll with that one. But what a difference between the 200 and the 300 when you look how long it is.
Well, they're going to be making a A220-400 variant.
Really?
Yep. They're making a longer one. Boy, isn't that going to be interesting, though? Because you look at how Delta has historically ordered aircraft from Boeing and Airbus and some of these other manufacturers. When they've placed the order, Delta's almost always gravitated towards the largest and longest ranged variant of that particular aircraft.
Get the biggest bang for their buck.
Case in point, the 767-400ERs, which were hugely unpopular.
2617, Minneapolis Tower, wind is 300.
Except with Delta, though.
You're right. It had the range, like you said.
Last week,
And there we had Delta 737-900ER.
Taxi via Papa.
You're right, via Papa, Delta 131.
Ground Sky 3799, clear 30 right on Papa for Charlie 21. Sky 3799, Minneapolis ground taxi to Park via Quebec via 220 join us Papa now. Alright, parking via Quebec, go 3799.
All right, so we got any more arrivals? I got to step down off the camera here and tend to our scanner here real quick.
I heard it beeping.
Yeah, it's got some needs. I'm coming.
Okay. Come on over.
Oh, we're chirping?
All right, we're getting a battery change out here. Alex is getting a new battery in. So we got a wide shot here of a inbound. RJ, how's your phone doing with power? What do we got coming in here? That looks like an Airbus 319. From Dallas Fort Worth to Minneapolis. Let's see. 320. Okay.
Yeah, we fixed everything, so we're all.
Yeah, like I was just sharing with you, we have had a challenging day today. There's some kind of line issues that really held us up to do a fuller, more normal stream. You know, we were scheduled to start at 3, we didn't get started till 3:30, and then within a few minutes we got shut down because of the issues that we've been trying to fight today. So, no, it's...
Signature 397, runway 30 right, taxi via Delta, hold short, runway 30 left. Delta, hold short, 30 left, 30 right, Signature 397.
That once
Too heavy.
a lot of it figured out, and you know, basically it responded.
Delta 2683, turn right, heading 230, contact departure. Delta 2617, turn right to contact ground point 9. Right turn, ground point 9. When you make the turn on to Papa, no delay through the Papa 8 intersection, please. No delay through Papa 8, Delta 5. Sun Country 253, Minneapolis ground, push approved, runway 30 right. Push approved, 30 right, Sun Country 253.
I see Carol Ann gave a shout out. How's everyone this evening? We're doing great, Carol Ann. Thanks for tuning in.
Sun Country 397, monitor tower now 126.7. 267, 397. Delta 2617, Minneapolis ground with the gate. We're going to Fox 10.
And that flight from Salt Lake City that flew
Delta
over the
Bravo.
airfield here,
They're coming in?
they came in on the north side.
Okay. Yep, that's
Or
quite a
they're
ways
about
away.
to, so
That's hard for us to see from here.
yeah, they just landed, so we might be able to see them as they pull off the runway down here if they come down far enough.
Okay, depending on what gate.
Yep.
The sun is waning here in MSP. We got 8:46 p.m. Still out though. Still got good daylight.
Yep, there they are. I can see them on the north side.
Oh, I see them. There they are.
Yeah, so now that we've reached our longest days of the summer,
That's right.
eventually now we're going to start to go in the reverse direction.
Typical Minnesota. Days are getting shorter. Here we got a wide body taking up this. Must be Amsterdam.
Yeah, 162.
162
Snuck
to
out on us.
Amsterdam. It sure did. Alex walks away for 2 seconds. He's pulling into frame now. There it goes.
Your runway 22, Hotel Bravo, hold short of the tunnel.
That'd be your last departure to Amsterdam on Delta out of here. They've got 3 a day now.
Actually, there's even more.
Is there one more
164.
tonight?
Yep.
9:45. Maybe. Is
Yeah,
it?
164.
Okay, you're right. Because that was number 2. Okay. My
Yeah,
bad.
so I'll go check and see where they're at.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there's at this time of the year.
It just seems late for the second one to go right now for some reason.
Well, no, they'll still go.
I know why. Because KLM came in at 3:15. That's why. They used to be 3:15. I think it was 7:45, and
Charlie or 22, contact ground point 9.
they change it up in the summertime when.
So they have a 9:40 scheduled departure time.
Oh, okay.
And estimated at 9:54. So
Very good.
a little before 10. And I know at this time of the year they run three non-stops from here going over and 3
Right.
non-stops coming back.
That's right.
In fact, you know, the last time that my mom and I flew to Amsterdam, when we flew back, the A330 that we were on from Amsterdam to Atlanta had come in from here.
Oh wow. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Is that last departure an A350 tonight?
No, 330-3.
It is. Okay.
Sun Country 682, Minneapolis ground, taxi park via Charlie and Windscape.
There's another different livery from Sun Country. They must have about, what, 4 or 5 different
Well, I know, but
liveries, I think. I like that one.
I think the Tide Pod is fun because there's the Tide Pod.
That's brighter, that's for sure.
It's more of a mix, you know, more of an even mix between the 3 colors.
Yeah.
And then there's Gopher Pod.
Yeah, there's one
And
more.
she's pushing. Where's Gopher Pod going? Let's find out.
Didn't stay here long.
Going to Boston.
Country 253, runway 30 right, taxi via
Nashville turn, then to Boston. Probably overnight in Boston. There it is.
Full short 30 left.
Boy, what a beautiful evening. Just absolutely stunning.
Oh, boot camp.
There we are. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, we're all getting huddled up here. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Alex. It's John Joseph, RJ Bean. I'll tell you what, we've had a really amazing Sunday evening out here at the viewing area. So we've had some really good catches. What's been your favorite so far of the broadcast?
I have to go with the Air France 787. Fantastic.
That was an incredible departure, as it always is.
It was.
You know me, it's always a former Northwest medal, A330s.
RJ and I are both sporting our Northwest Airline hats here.
Yes, this is a Stratocruiser cap. This is actually available for purchase over at the museum.
Love it.
Yeah.
Roger, 823. Left. Push through, 30 left, Alpha about 44.
Looks like we got another departure
On
its way out here.
No,
that's an arrival.
30 left. Your right hand side, the one off the left on Delta will wait for you.
Coming in from Grand Rapids.
Okay, traffic.
Sun Country
side
1914.
Right, on the left, 23. Sun Country 1914, turn left at Charlie, contact ground, point 9er, good day. Charlie, point 9er, good day. Delta 696, visual 30 left. Endeavor 5527, wind 310.
Yeah, I've been on a
180,
Delta A330 a few times, so yeah,
Great
kind of
aircraft.
Delta 2696, Minneapolis, tower wind 310,
showing my
30 left, clear land.
you know, my loyalty to being a red tail.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was always kind of a standing joke when Mom and I were flying. We were waiting to board, and I'd be keeping a close eye on her while we were sitting at the gate waiting because, you know, she wanted to go up and start scraping paint off the tail to get to the red underneath.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was just a joke.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're going to get a Gopher Pod departure maybe because they are...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We'll see where they end up going.
Yep, there's that University of Minnesota Gopher livery we were talking about earlier on Sun Country.
And it's going to be
That's
under
sharp.
golden hour skies, too. How about that?
That's perfect. That's
That's
sharp.
only fitting. And you know, the first year that I worked the state fair, one of the days during the parade, the U of M marching band was in it. I think it was the first time I ever saw them. That was cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know if they were there last year. I will be working again this year, so we'll see if they come back. In fact, I need to go to the employment office and take care of the rest of
Where
what
do you
I
work
haven't
when you
done.
go out there?
I'm in the admissions department. I'm scanning tickets at one of the gates.
I see. Okay.
So
I'll have to look for you when I go out
I
there
need
this year.
to take care of the rest of my paperwork and
I go once, if not twice a year.
get my shirts, more shirts for my collection, and get my credential because I have to scan my credential, or, you know, my ID to get onto the fairgrounds. That's the thing about the state fairs. No matter if you're going to the fair to enjoy it for the day or you're on the fairgrounds to work somewhere, you have to have a ticket.
Right. I'll
Period.
bet.
And I mean, we deal with people, unfortunately, all the time that think that when they're working for a vendor, you know, it's,
Walk right in.
well, no, it's not so much that. It's just that it's on them to make sure that they have the tickets to get on, because you can't use the same ticket more than once. Once a ticket is scanned, that's it.
Okay.
So they just have to make sure that they have one before they leave to come back and work the next day. So they can get on, and get to where they need to be. So, you know, you work for, you know, if you're at, you know, like a Sweet Martha's Cookies, you're working for them.
Shout out to Sweet Martha's. I love
Exactly. Well, then there's also the Mouthtrap cheese curds. And
Shout
the
out
donuts.
to Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yeah, donuts.
Mini donuts.
Yep, the mini donuts, the mouth trap cheese curds.
in the food building.
Yep.
Okay.
Sweet Martha's cookies.
Is it
Are we
corn
missing any
dog
other
or
foods
Pronto
here?
Pup? Who's?
The French fries.
The French fries, the Prado Pups.
Are you
that's the
team
other
corn
one.
dog or team Pronto Pup?
Corn
All
dog.
right, I am too.
Yep, go with an empty stomach. You'll be well fed by the end of the day.
That's right.
Going to the left, the runway.
You have to fast beforehand.
Denver 5249, Minneapolis ground, runway 30 right, taxi via Papa.
Sun Country 253, give way to the CRJ, head into your right, coming out the alleyway.
All right, we'll give way, 253.
Yeah, remind me and I'll tell you where I'm at
Okay.
when we're off air.
Deal.
Fly heading 180, runway 17, clear for takeoff. Delta 1144 still on frequency.
Oh, this is a good arrival, of course. I'm a little partial. This is Delta 2696 from Tampa at A321.
Nice.
2044 is
They were delayed leaving. They had a scheduled 3:24 Eastern time departure. They didn't till 6:24. So they should have been in here just before 6.
Wow, 3 hours. Could be weather down there.
Yeah.
What do you got there, Alex? You got a friend? What'd you find?
There's good. There's Gerald.
The local wildlife having a snack. Little, looks like
the people that were just sitting there.
pistachios.
Oh,
There he goes.
left some snacks out for him.
Gerald, right?
It's Gerald.
Okay.
They're all Gerald.
Look at that. I can just hear it now. Aw, ain't he cute? Can't you just hear that?
Oh.
Aw, ain't he cute?
Isn't he special? Yeah, you got to get into the lingo out here.
Oh, yep, there he is.
3007, fly runway heading runway 30, cleared for takeoff.
Getting a free meal. I love it.
And Delta 26 and 96, taxi via Alpha to the gate now. Company downfield shouldn't be blocking.
You get it all here at MSP Airport Live, ladies and gentlemen. Airplanes, birds, gophers.
This is the unofficial mascot of the airport here. This is Gerald.
Who else has a Gerald?
That's great.
So Colby Overhagen says, how far of a flight is that? Well, if you're maybe referring to the Amsterdam departure,
About 7 hours and 40 minutes,
yeah,
roughly.
or about, maybe about 8.
You got wind at your back. It could be 7:20. That'd be a good time. Count on it's about 7 hours and 40 minutes. Coming back, 8 hours and 15 minutes. Coming westbound against the winds.
Okay, I know you just had one pop up that I need to answer because it's directed at me as I get caught up, but I wanted to share. Yeet, you saw, you 323 says, viewing from northwest of MSP in the town of Becker, Minnesota. Thank you back for watching.
Hello, Becker.
Thank you. I've been through Becker, Minnesota a few times.
So Rick S. is asking me specific, did your dad know any Northwest pilots from Taylor's Falls?
Maybe.
I can't say because, to be honest, Alex, could I just bleed it out to share just what happened?
Well, if you're comfortable with sharing that, go ahead.
Okay, so unfortunately my dad had a massive heart attack and a stroke at the age of 50, actually at the Tampa airport. And that happened when I was 17. That was in 1981. So, as far as my dad's time frame of flying, that's how far back you would need to go. So it's really hard to say. My dad did so much and knew so many people. I'm not sure I could answer that because I don't know. But I tried.
RJ, this one's for you too.
Oh, geez.
From North Midwest Buzzsaw. Now, whenever I see a chipmunk, I'm totally going to call them Gerald. I love it.
There
Bingo.
you go.
There goes your Sun Country, University of Minnesota library.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of gophers, there goes Gopher Pod.
Oh, so they went to the north side.
Yeah, he did. I saw him go over there. Yep, there he is.
It's Gerald's favorite livery.
Who knew the Golden Gopher was an aviation fan? You gotta love that.
Yeah, I was talking to Gerald while setting up here before our show started. And I asked him, what do you think of Sun Country's new Gopher Pod livery?
Who'd you ask that to? Gerald?
Gerald.
You got to give Gerald a mic and a headset.
All right. I think the heat's getting to Alex. He's talking to wild animals. I love it. Speaking of sunsets,
Yep.
after you get this
yeah, it's going down.
this departure, follow it and check that sunset out.
ground reference, company push off Charlie 14. Your push is approved. Runway 30 right.
So, Vinny, yes, sorry to hear. Same with your father. Wow. Yeah, I know it's tough. Just moving forward as best I can, and being out here is a big help because I'm keeping an eye on my dad's airport and his runways. And I'm back to the home state where I was born and raised up until this all happened.
1144 contact.
Alex, that was a great silhouette shot you just had of that 900. That was beautiful. Really nice work.
You're welcome.
And that sunset. Almost there it is. Perfect. Look at that.
Oh yeah, there we go.
That's on fire. That
all the
is
poles
nice.
in the way.
That's all right. We get it.
So Alex and John, you got to hear this too. Angela Laketon. This is the most entertaining thing I've seen in a very long time. Subscribe, Planes and Chipmunks. Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Welcome. Great.
674 wind 30.
And then Region Weather Live. This is good. I like the name. Worked as a Northwest meteorologist for a few years, many years ago.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's very cool.
Delta 1280.
Yep, airlines have them.
Now company switching Charlie 12, no factor. Time to correct Delta 1280.
And not just your local news at 5 p.m.
Oh yeah, because there's
Don't we love our followers when they chime in? You really do.
Absolutely. That's why I'm trying to follow our chat today, as I've been starting to try to do to acknowledge everybody's loyalty to follow us here at MSP Airport Live.
Thank everybody that's popped into the chat for sharing their experiences, getting to know all the other fantastic people a part of our community. And you can also carry the discussion over when the stream is done to our new MSP Airport spotting Discord server. And if Micah Larson could be so kind to post that and pin that in the live chat for our viewers,
reposition to the ramp via
wonderful.
Quebec,
Thank you, Micah.
Cross runway 4, hold short runway 30 left.
It almost seems like Sun Country has as many departures out of here as Delta, doesn't it? They're everywhere.
2768, runway 17,
Oh, yeah.
taxi via Alpha.
We are the main operating base for Sun Country Airlines after all.
Mm-hmm.
30 left. Delta 2768, monitor.
And I need to do another one. Bry Guy, if I pronounce that right, apologize if I, smash any of these. Good evening from Michigan's Upper Peninsula.
The UP, a
yes,
Uper.
Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, that's Bry Guy. You got it right, Bry Guy. Guessing his name is Brian. I'm going to go out on a limb there. A Uper.
Yeah, I've never been to the UP of Michigan.
Cherry Country.
The Cherry Country is south of the bridge.
Traverse City?
The Mackinac Bridge, yep.
Affirmative, Charlie 2 and Delta is needed.
Benzie, Leelanau, Antrim, Charlevoix
You're talking
counties.
Ironwood,
counties.
Iron Mountain. Okay.
Yeah, Regional Weather Live comments again, very cool, and says thanks. You're welcome.
2768 Minneapolis turn.
He probably remembers when they used to say, follow the red tail, because they have such a great meteorology department. I mentioned that earlier, but I'm sure he remembers that.
And I haven't said it yet, but I always like to, red tails forever, red tails for life.
Northwest had some fantastic people. I'll say that.
There's a great shot. Look at that. A widget in the Sun Country sunburst, right? Look at those tails. That's great. I still consider Delta the hometown airline. I'm sorry. I just do, even though they're not based here, but boy, do they have a big presence.
Well, I heard it once. This is kind of known as Delta North.
Yeah. It's the second biggest, busiest hub of Delta. Atlanta's number 1 and MSP is number 2, if you can believe that. It's true.
With the passenger traffic, we actually beat out Detroit.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, Detroit has, I think, maybe slightly more arrivals and departures than we do, but as far as foot traffic, we are certainly the busier airport. And when it comes to connections, MSP is so valuable for Delta. MSP is one of those airports that if Delta had to downsize, MSP would retain its hub status. That is how important MSP is to Delta.
They're probably second biggest in revenue traffic, too.
Minneapolis ground taxi to Park via Papa cross runway 4. Taxi Park via Papa cross runway 4.
We got the weather vane lit up, Alex. Light just came on.
Super Tug 6, Minneapolis ground.
Probably going to catch it as you get this taxi by.
Golf 12.
Super Tug 6, roger, your push is approved.
Push approved. Tug 6.
Nice, Bry guy.
Delta 2044 monitor.
Ground. Yeah, 220. So if we make a right turn, Charlie 2, Charlie Sierra to get to target.
26.7, Delta 2044.
Delta, Sun Country 220, that is approved equipment.
Sun Country 220, thank you.
Stay in contact.
Another baby bus, 319.
Charlie from Sun Country 920, guess there's a few full gates down there, so continue on Charlie, stay in contact ground point.
Okay, we'll turn off on Charlie, ground point 9 or 920.
Thank you, Delta 2571, turn right heading 360, contact departure.
Take monitor tower 126.7. 26.7, 76. Ground 3920 off on Charlie, parking Hotel 6.
Sun Country 920, Minneapolis ground taxi to Park via
That's one of the last 319s that Northwest purchased at
Oh my goodness.
3171.
We've got the June bugs.
Oh, geez, are you kidding?
Are they out?
Yep, we've got the June bugs. I guess we found out the answer to whether or not we're going to have some bugs today.
So we'll do the best we can.
Sequence behind the Sun Country at the end.
Behind Sun Country, we'll sequence Delta 27.
So catching up on more of our chat, Robert Broom says, say yeah to the UP, eh?
I heard that accent.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I never lost it.
Apparently not. I love it. Look at that weather out there.
Vinny
That's
says,
pretty.
watching from plane, all the wide bodies usually fly over on departure. I end up glued to the windows watching. LOL.
Yep.
And Brenda Litzinger, so glad I was able to catch these last couple of hours. That sky is gorgeous. My only issue is I missed the France 787, but there'll be more. Drive home safely.
Nice.
And in regards to the weather, Bet Rockstead says, hello from Red Wing. It's raining here.
Oh, I bet. So we're going to swing the camera around here to the right. Yeah, I think I know the source of that rain.
End up at 4800 Minneapolis, tower wind is 3006, turning 30 left.
And we're going to get a whale again.
Okay.
Just as they make the turn onto Whiskey.
Take my headset off here so I can hear it.
Yep, I'm getting attacked. Yep.
Left turn, Delta, just hold short.
I have a feeling that we're going to do a lot more swatting than spotting here coming up within the next 30 minutes or so.
Was that a bee or was that a June bug?
No, those are June bugs.
Those are the June bugs.
Oh boy.
Secondary 920, hold behind Hotel 3. Hotel 3,
One just almost went in my mouth.
Pardon me?
I was
That
about
scared the crap out of me. Jeez.
I was about to say something, and
We're live, remember.
yes,
They're not bugging me.
just wait.
Okay.
Secondary 920, record taxi Charlie Sierra to gate.
Not bugging me.
Not.
I did not plan that. I swear to God, a good catch, Alex.
So Bright Guy shares born in a raised Uper.
Saw that.
Southwest 4552, wind is
So this is about the fourth thing today. Now the June bugs. We had the computer glitch. We had the weather. We had the computer glitch again, and now we got the June bugs. That's okay. Still a beautiful evening.
Well,
here at
I've got
MSP.
bug spray in my car, but I don't think it's going to help.
We
for
haven't had
this.
a problem since about 6:15, so I think we've been rolling pretty
Really
well.
good.
Vinny also says Detroit is hot on our heels, though, and I'm sure that's in regards to the level of operations.
That is true. They're always hot on their heels.
Yeah, and he also says, for those interested, there's actually quite the rivalry between Detroit and MSP with the admin. The MAC Commission loves talking about how we tend to just barely beat Detroit. Well, of course, we're going to be partial to here.
For Delta, the money all goes in the same pot. That's a great shot of the CRJ 900. There's a co-pilot there. Get a wave out of him, RJ?
I wasn't even trying.
Yeah, he's focused.
Yeah.
Oh, Denver Maintenance, they are laser focused.
Yeah, Ludamara comments, fair winds, clear skies, and a star to steer by. Good night to all. Yep. I know that sensation all too well with all the cruising I've done. Nothing like being out on a cruise ship at sea, no land in sight, and a clear sky above. The sky to show the availability to see the stars is just amazing. And yeah, Kathy Hawley says, yeah, June bugs are gross. Yeah, you know what? We had never had a problem out here broadcasting at this hour just until the last couple weeks.
Well, you know, it is June.
Well, not much longer.
I was thinking that.
Still June.
So by next stream, it'll be July, and then what if they're still here?
At the hangar.
The July bug? Let's hope not.
That was a good shot of the hangar doors open back there, Alex. Did you see that? A lot of RJs.
Leggy says, aircraft loading supervisor for Lufthansa and Discover here at MSP. Keep up the great work.
Nice. We saw Discover go today.
Yeah, we weren't able to carry it live.
No, unfortunately. But
yeah, there you go. The big American flag inside.
Oh, heck yeah.
There's one over here on the inside the hangars along 494. I see it when the doors are open.
There's one thing that'll always be missing from the hangars over there, and that's the big mural. The big Northwest Airlines mural.
Oh, yes, at the end of the hangar, closest to the end of the G concourse.
Yep. That is long gone.
Had the employees on it?
Yes, it did.
I knew that employee. Willie. He passed away. He was a flight attendant. Yep. I knew Willie real well.
I've got a picture. We pushed back for a departing flight from here once, and we had our gate down there at the end. And I was sitting next to the window. Of course, that's where I like to be. Unfortunately, that time I was on the right side, so behind the co-pilot. But it was a great spot, and it was great timing to get a picture from on board through the window of that mural that on that end of that hangar when it was still there.
There's the hangar. There it is. Good shot.
So
yeah, that was nice.
So that's not the actual hangar where the mural was, but
didn't they tear that down?
Yeah,
yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, though that hangar has been gone for a long time.
It's a parking lot now, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Willie Schuford. I just remembered his name. It's been a long time. Any ex-Northwest flight attendants out there listening definitely know who he was, based in Minneapolis. Big history here with NWA and Republic.
100%.
Huge.
And folks, if you want to continue the spotting discussion here at MSP Airport, interact with me and many others that also enjoy aviation, you can check out our new MSP Airport Spotting Discord server. You can go ahead and visit that link in the chat. And we will see you there. It's a fun server. We got a spot for trip reports, so if you're going somewhere fun, as I managed to swat and kill a June bug.
Watch your mouth. Don't eat one.
Well, you were a lot closer to eating one than me, so
you can
I will
put in
heed the
trip
warning.
reports you were saying on this server?
Yep, you got information on like cool flight deals and all that stuff.
Okay.
You want to talk about photography, videography, flight tracking.
And where can they find that?
So it'll be in the link in the chat.
Okay. Oh, I see it.
If we
there
can
it
pin
is.
that to our live chat, Micah, that'd be amazing.
There it is.
With that link. So.
Oh. I got to get over so I can see this better. Nate Linderman says, you know what Detroit doesn't have? The home of the best plane spotting channel on YouTube.
Well, thank you.
Kudos.
Yes.
Kudos.
They don't. I think they don't have any live plane spotting over there. I don't think there's been anybody.
And Vinny says right underneath him, Nate is right. So, nah.
Stay tuned, right?
And I know that we have some viewers from that area of Michigan. Do we know why that is?
Ground, Delta 1749.
It would be a great plane spotting place, DTW.
1749. Yeah, hey, we just got a report from the ground crews. We got here at the gate at Charlie 10 that there's flames in the engine. If you could send the fire trucks. Okay, we'll send the fire trucks to Charlie 10. All right, thank you.
Well, that's on the other side of the airport. Apparently there's flames in the engine, so now the fire trucks have to be deployed, and we will get to catching the fire trucks en route to Concourse C here at MSP Airport to respond to this emergency.
The lights are on.
Yeah, there's lights flashing over at the fire station.
Yep, that's a call coming in for them. Charlie,
how about
10,
this?
There you go. Perfect, Alex.
So this is where our aviation live stream turns into breaking news, actually.
Yep. They're running. You can see the firefighters running to their equipment. There they go. They're going to be hauling to get over there. Doors are opening.
$2918, that was you that called me reference the aircraft off Charlie 10 or somebody else?
I think that was them, sir. I think Charlie 10's one that called you and the ground crew reported that they had planes.
The ground crew reported it. Okay.
Yep, there they go.
I just
lights
got that information. And just
that buzzing that you're
the
hearing,
those
are the June bugs swarming our microphones.
1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like they're rolling 4 trucks, Alex.
All right, everybody, here they go to Concourse C.
The flames in the engine.
Right, they did. The FO is running out to check it to see what it looks like right now. So they observed the flames in the engine.
Okay, roger that. The trucks are mobilized on the field and they're heading away.
Okay, and tell them it's the number 1.
Yep, there they go.
Okay, number 1 left side engine, roger.
Ooh, number 1 engine.
Number 1.
Oh, they're coming from both stations.
Both stations. There they go. Quick response.
Got 3 trucks mobilizing, including the Oshkosh Striker 4x4, one of them.
And there's 3 trucks headed over from the fire station closest to T2.
Do we know what's at Charlie 10 right now? Can we look that up? Under departures.
Engine 32 Minneapolis, Mike 6 plus 3.
See if I can get that. I might be able to get that.
Well, was the aircraft at the gate or had they pushed?
At the gate. I think it's at the gate, Charlie 10. Otherwise, they'd say they were somewhere else, but here we go.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot of trucks headed over there.
Hotel cross runway 22.
Trying to find out what's at Charlie 10 right now.
2918, monitor tower 126.7.
Can't seem to find it. Here we go. All right, let's see what we got at Charlie 10 for a past 9 p.m. departure. Stand by.
Runway 17, taxi via Delta Sierra Kilo, cross runway 4.
I don't see it.
17 Delta Sierra Kilo.
So how's this for a development?
5, runway 30 left, quarter line.
Pretty exciting. I hope everything's okay. I can't find any aircraft at Charlie 10 right now, unfortunately. Just curious what kind of plane it is.
Ground Delta 2733, ready.
Could have been an ignited when at the startup, a fuel startup.
Runway 30 left.
Here, I found it. Charlie 10, Delta 2391 to Portland, Oregon.
Delta 2733, yeah, you got it. Sorry.
That sounds like a 737-900 or A321. That's my guess.
Yeah, of course, we can't see the north side from here, so we don't know exactly what's going on.
Turn right down with.
That's what parked there, though.
Sun Country 1836, taxi on Mike 2, crossing McMore. Mike 2, cross runway 4, Sun Country 1836.
How many trucks did they roll, Alex? 6? 3 from that side? 3 from this side?
Yeah, it looked like they rolled 6.
That's a lot of trucks. Don't you love that weather vane lit up like that?
Oh, the windsock.
That's pretty cool. The windsock on it. Thank you. Yeah. I love that.
I need to have one of those out in front of my house.
Wouldn't that be nice?
The fire trucks are here, but I don't think we're not evacuating or anything. I figured it was just they didn't really know what they were looking at.
Oh, 1749. Okay. Yep. Just keep me keyed up for just a little bit if you can, in case we need to have you call for any reason, because there might be some paperwork involved. But yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks for all your help. Sorry for not being on there. We're just dealing with a lot of shit.
No worries, and very understandable.
Sounds like they might have that under control over there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Taxi Quebec, Mike, crossing McMore, hold turn to runway 30 left. Delta 1208, turn right Delta 8, contact ground point center.
RJ's got the salute for the 757-300.
Delta 1208 from Orlando. Northwest tail.
November 715, Mike Echo, Minneapolis Tower. Wind is 310 at 4, runway 30 left, quarter to line.
Well, it's a good thing we stayed on the air a little bit later, I guess, than we were originally anticipating to catch that emergency response. I think it just puts into view just how sharp and how on top of things that our MAC firefighters are when dealing with situations like that could have quickly and easily turned catastrophic.
I was thinking the same thing, Alex. You don't get to see that every day.
An excellent response, right, where things go right.
Yeah. But just
and
how
in this
quickly.
case it did, yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting to see.
Well done, MAC Fire.
Okay, Daniel Swanson just said looked like they were sitting in front of C9 or C10.
Okay, yep.
And now that we can stand down a little bit from that developing situation.
Right.
Socks on the Duck says, well, the Eau Claire Air Show wrapped up today with all 7 Blue Angels headed east amid glorious thunder.
Love the Blue Angels.
Yeah, the Blues.
Secondary 1814, turn left, Charlie, contact ground point center. Charlie, ground point 939.
I'm just going to pretend the bugs aren't here, RJ.
Delta 2733, Minneapolis Tower, Mike, cross, runway 30 left, taxi via Whiskey.
Yeah, they like you.
At Mike, cross, runway 30 left.
Yeah, I'm just
They like both of us. Ah! Dang it!
261, wind 300 at 4, 5 runway heading, runway 17, clear to take off.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, 30 left for performance.
The bugs like Alex.
I'm good.
You can have it.
Ground country 14 on Charlie, Gate Hotel 5.
Sun Country 1814, taxi via Charlie 2.
Charlie 2, Sun Country.
1208, company's pushing on box 13 now. As soon as they get out of there, we'll be able to get you in. You can hang out right where you're at until then.
We actually just got a gate change message.
And folks, before we call it a show, we want to take the time to let you know
1208, of course. Turn left at Charlie 5.
that our live broadcasts are proudly supported in part by our wonderful friends over at Jet Set Shirts. Get your aviation and travel swag on at jetsetshirts.com. They have a ton of awesome designs. Eric is coming out with all sorts of fun travel and aviation inspired apparel. It's worth checking out. Visit the link in the description below to get your aviation swag today. Jet Set Shirts. Wear it! And we are also incredibly thankful for our wonderful friends over at DG Pilot, supporting MSP Airport Live. And they are the purveyor of gifts for the aviation and travel enthusiast.
Well, actually, can I verify
they have a wonderful selection of die-cast model aircraft, collectibles, travel guides, and gear for your next adventure. Minnesota-made local goods, airline memorabilia, and so much more. There's a lot of things at DG Pilot that I could go on about that are just really cool. You owe it to yourself if you're in the Twin Cities area to check them out in downtown St. Paul. Details on their website at dgpilot.com.
Great.
And we also want to give a big shout out to the Northwest Airlines History Center, preserving the history and the legacy of the Red Tail. Northwest Airlines. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has saved countless priceless artifacts from Northwest's glory years. Media, flight attendant uniforms, even whole rows of seats from aircraft. They've done so much to preserve the history and the story.
Food service pieces.
Exactly, too. Yep. What they have done.
Imperial service that Northwest had. That's what it was called to Asia.
Yeah. So if you also like an interactive experience, the History Center and their space in the Crown Plaza Air Hotel is the place to be. Rumor has it that you can smash a gong.
Yes, you can. Come on over and do it. And we've got a new exhibit now where you can marshal in an airplane.
Nice.
And we have everything there that ground ops staff wear to do it.
Is that new? That's a new.
Yes, and I wanted to add as we're kind of winding down our stream for this evening, it looks like we're going to be having an early evening reception at the museum on Friday, July 8th to give people the opportunity to get out and come over and see us to check out what we have that's new. And
any time frame on that?
I'm not sure on the time.
Okay.
I would
website
say
will have it. Just go to the website. Great.
Yep. Or check it out. Follow and like us on Facebook. So I know I'll be there.
Yeah. And again, details can be found at northwestairlineshistory.org.
Nice.
Favorite moment from today's broadcasts. John, we'll start with you. A favorite moment from the stream today, and as we continue to wrap up here from MSP Airport. What moment stuck out to you?
My favorite moment, Alex, I think tonight was what we just experienced at the MAC Fire Department there. Getting a call in from the pilots to the tower that they've got flames in the engine, in the left engine, and
which is number one engine.
Number one engine on the left, and watching the call come in, watching the firehouse light up, and watching the firefighters run to their equipment and deploying. They must have gotten out of there in about 60 seconds.
Yeah.
That was exciting to see.
RJ.
Wow.
Follow that one.
Yeah, well, you covered that event. I would say, of course, me as always, it's anything that's a former Red Tail and an A330 departure.
There you go. Alex, how about you?
My favorite moment was perhaps the A350 departure to Detroit tonight. I always like seeing the 350. There are other moments, of course, that I like throughout the day today and even just throughout the night here. I love seeing the response to that emergency over by
the June bug.
Yeah.
You were picturing yourself on that A350, weren't you?
Yeah. I'm excited. I'll be going on it in August, so we'll see.
Those are all good highlights.
Yeah.
Great highlights.
Yeah, I'm going to try and take some video, take some photos, so I'll get myself a nice mount for the window for my phone to get some really good takeoff and landing footage, takeoff from MSP, and the nighttime arrival into DTW. I think we're going to be arriving on the center parallel DTW. 2 left.
Got that figured out already.
4
okay.
right.
We planning on being live again Wednesday evening?
Well, that's the plan.
To watch the weather.
Yeah, this Wednesday actually doesn't look too bad.
I think it's looking good.
1305, runway 30
it's looking
right.
splendid.
I'm sorry, runway 30 left.
So for not, it's because of the weather.
Alpha.
Yeah, so just checking on the weather forecast here that's coming up. Yeah, Wednesday. Oh, yeah, we're going to be live on Wednesday. Yeah, there is no question about it. I'm just looking at the weather here. It's going to be bright. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be 85 degrees Fahrenheit.
Perfect.
60 with a low of 64.
That's perfect.
That's just about perfect summer weather. So, yeah, we're going to be rocking and rolling on Wednesday.
Great.
Now, I am also trying to do a special broadcast on July 4th.
Very patriotic. Okay.
Yeah,
you wear a red, white, and blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should get some glow sticks as well, too. I think that, if you're going to be out here, too, especially when it becomes darker out. Yeah.
Okay. July 4th. What day is that this
Friday.
year? It's a Friday. Okay.
Aha! I caught one.
What else do we have to do on a Friday night?
Catch a June bug.
4th of July.
And squish it.
I think that's a great idea. July out here.
Yeah, thank you. Delta 1305 behind your company, right to left. Who's asking me about a delay? There is nothing concerning you.
Who's asking me about a delay? There's nothing concerning you.
Yes, that was
You
good.
never know what you're going to hear.
Yeah, that was good. Did that mean mind your own business? I'm not sure.
Now we're going to Foxtrot 2, and we'll turn on Delta ground point 9 for Delta 2392.
Thank you.
All right, well, that'll just about do it for our live presentation of plane spotting from Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. Catch us again this week on Wednesday and maybe on Friday for the 4th of July. We'll see, as we plan to continue to bring you all the action as it comes to us from one incredible location. We'd like to thank our live viewers for sticking with us and tuning in today with the live plane spotting.
Oh, just as we're getting ready to close out, I need to ask, Kathy Hawley says you can watch the fireworks from the field. That would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we might have to do that. Yeah, thanks for the tip. Yeah, you will definitely, especially from this spot, you will definitely see that.
Yeah, wherever they're being launched skyward from.
180, hold short 30 left at Alpha 7, Delta 2749.
And our managing producer is our number 2 in command at MSP Live, Michael Larson, who helps me out. Should be there on Wednesday as well. So we'll get to welcome Micah back onto the broadcast. Should be very fun.
Nice. Looks like the fire department's going back to base.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to our home bases and wrap it up for tonight as well.
Great send-off. Great analogy.
Yeah, you bet. And for RJ Bean, John Joseph, and for Michael Larson, Alex Rennick saying goodnight from Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport, and we will see you in the very next installments of MSP Airport Live, everybody. Take care. We'll see you again soon.
Welcome to DG Pilot Aviation Collectibles and More and our St. Paul showroom and warehouse. From the time your order is placed until it is delivered to you, our #1 goal is to provide you with the best customer service experience. That's why we're excited to take you behind the scenes today at our warehouse to provide you an up-close perspective of our model aircraft delivery experience. Our first step in the model aircraft delivery process takes place after your order is received. Our model aircraft delivery specialist will conduct a detailed inspection of your model for quality control to ensure we provide you with the highest quality products. Each specialist begins the inspection by removing the model from the box and performing a visual inspection of the model, checking features such as the wings, landing gear, and antenna, as well as the overall model for defects. After the inspection is complete, your model is reboxed and then prepared for packing. Each model is then bubble wrapped to provide an extra cushion to prevent any damage during shipping. After the bubble wrap process is complete, the model is then boxed for shipping. Our specialist then reconfirms your model is ready for shipping, attaches a shipping label, and then your model is sent out for delivery. We hope that you'll consider DG Pilot Aviation Collectibles for your model aircraft collecting needs. You can order products online at dgpilot.com or visit our St. Paul showroom where we have hundreds of model aircraft to choose from. From all of us at DG Pilot, thank you for your continued business, loyalty, and support, and happy collecting.